You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
Upgrade that rod.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to leave the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, gross atomic waves. From deep within the core, gross atomic waves.
Hello and welcome to the 512th edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight, I've got Ray. What's up, Ray?
Hello, hello.
And also Jess. What's going on, Jess?
Hey, Andrew. Greets, everybody. Happy weekend.
Happy weekend! Tonight on the show, we'll be going over our gameplay off the top. Then we've got a Fallout Terminal Velocity from Kindly Solior. We're checking in with the Crimson Caravan. Also, a little bit of game time. Sticking with our generic beverages theme, this week we are playing Root Do or Beer Don't, or however that works. Figure it out yourselves at home. Extra points for that. Iguana Bits. Got a couple of Iguana Bits on our way out the door, but it sounds like I'll probably be baiting up a hook and reeling it over Jess's way and saying, "Hey, Jess," as the line drops in the water, "did you get a chance to play any video games?" as I hook her in.
Oh, you're reeling me right in with that one. Yes. Pretty much all I played this week for games was Fallout 76 fishing.
How is it? Do you like it?
Oh, yeah. I like it a lot. Don't look for me. I'm gone fishing. You want to know where I am? I'm at camp. Actually, here's a fun tidbit that I hadn't told anybody yet. I don't know if anyone's done. You can fish underground. You can actually go to the upside down, and if you're near the edge of like a body of water, you know how they get a little bit square under the ground, and looking at it, you can actually fish into it, and it's the best because you throw your bobber and it floats up over your head, and you're under it, and you're watching it bob over your head, and then when you catch the fish, sometimes you pick it up, other times it like just kind of hovers in the air, like I don't know what to do. Fish aren't supposed to be underground. It's the best. But yeah. Really, really fun. So I mostly played 76 this week when I got a chance to game. I was super anticipating the update. I did not finish the scoreboard like I said last week that I probably wouldn't. No. You know, that's $20 I didn't need to spend, or several hours I didn't need to grind, which I couldn't even get close. I mean, maybe if I really tried grinding, I could get 10 ranks or something, but I'm not one to do that. I don't want to run West Tech over and over, that sort of thing.
We should figure out the cost of the Fallout first versus the benefits of doing the time investment, plus you have to give a fun value to the experiment as well. But you know, you have to do a cost analysis on whether it's how much it actually costs time-wise versus if this was your salary, how much you're going to pay yourself to play video games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would vary based on how much you make, too. Like, what is my hourly rate? You know,
to
am
play
I a
this
lawyer?
fucking scoreboard.
am I big money, you know? And then you're like, not even worth it. Like, I can work an hour and I can pay for the scoreboard.
I can pay for this whole goddamn thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it is kind of worth it if you enjoy the game because it's fun. Let's be honest. Like, I know that it becomes the chore board, and I know that there are times when we get tired of it, like I did. But a lot of it just happens while you're playing the game, and that's still a lot of fun most of the time. But like I said, I'm on a break since we kind of finished our roundtable. I'm not in a lot until fishing. So first, you log in. You have to go to a little area on the map where it designates an area where you can pick up a signal and you listen to, I believe it's like the Linda Lee signal something, which Linda Lee, if you didn't know, is a big-ass crab. Not an ass crab. People often make that mistake. A big-ass crab. We've been down this road before.
Ew.
But honestly, she is the biggest of the big-ass crabs we've met. Chat right now is saying big-ass adorable crab. Indeed. No, Linda Lee. So you listen to the signal, and you end up kind of going into this island. And may I tell you, you may recall that I have over the last 6 years a few times mentioned there's this area where you're right at the edge of the creek behind the Valley Galleria, and there's this like perfect pond, and there's this perfect island, and my dream is to put a camp there. I would love to put a camp there. And I have tried on custom getting through the edge there. I've tried other places. I've built right along the very edge of that lake area. That is where they put Fisherman's Rest, the new location for this. So we're not just behind Valley Gallery, we're behind Valley Gallery in that perfect spot. We've got now this whole beautiful lake for fishing. It's got a nice fog over it. They've got bridges. And what's great about this location too is there's lots of room for people who just want to do their dailies and just want to fish there in the mire, or just grab fish for whatever reason. There's plenty of spots around there to fish. Really cool location.
A bunch of people build camps around? Is it spacious enough, big enough body of water? If I build my camp there, every time I log in, am I going to be like, your camp cannot be placed here? Here's an extra.
Believe it or not, I've only seen so I've logged in. It's been out 3 days. I've logged in 3 times. Because I've gone in each day to grab my daily for regional fish, start the quest, get a few extra fish, and all that.
Regional.
So not a ton. It hasn't been out long yet, but I've only seen 2 camps there so far.
Cool.
One was on the north side of the pond. None of them were on the center island. I assume that that's probably blocked off because it's a location, and they do that. But on the outside of this lake, it's pretty large. The right side, you couldn't really, like the far east, you couldn't really build because the fence is right there. Okay. You might be able to get just a tight on the edge. But north and south, you definitely can. And there's a big ledge on the southwest overlooking it, where I actually was able to build a tower once in the past. It wasn't a great location. It was just too close to the edge. But now it would be perfectly free. So that's good stuff. But yeah, so the update. I
step back.
There's
from
really
that
nothing
ledge,
to spoil,
please.
And I think people know the basics. But you've gone in there and done this, right, Andrew? Like at least to get started.
I have done none of the scoreboard associated things, but I have gone in and started the fishing stuff. Yes, but you were just saying earlier how just through the process of fishing and just playing the game that a lot of your daily score stuff will pop just like through playing the game itself without having to concentrate necessarily on the scoreboard.
I mean, not many of them, but yes. You've noticed that 76 often aligns challenges with whatever the current event is and such.
Of course,
so because of that, you usually get some from there. There are usually a couple of crafting or building ones, which there's a good chance that's going to pop, or scrapping ones. Like I might scrap 15 springs unintentionally. It does happen sometimes.
Craft 10 bait. Oh, look at that. I crafted 10 bait.
Harvest 30 vegetables, stuff like that. Like that can happen in the course of play.
You're honestly harvesting 30 vegetables without being prompted to by the chore board?
Usually not, but sometimes, like if I load in by Silva Farm or something, I might just run down the corn rows or run down the grain rows and harvest for fun.
For fun.
I mean, it's fun. It's a nice little challenge. You can get them all while running fast. But yeah. So
yeah. The ones that always get me are the Kilton Scorch, Kilton this or that. Right. Like, no, damn it. I have to kill him for this quest, but I don't want the score.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's true. You're actually questing. See, it all depends on how you play. I'm saying I get these random ones from just like looting stuff, scrapping, and building. And then, Ray's getting them from actually doing a quest. So, all kinds of ways.
I caught like 50 fish, and I was hoping that I just must have been doing it in the wrong location because I didn't even pop open the chore board or the active daily challenges. I never even popped those open to see what it was. So if I was fishing in the correct location, I would have gotten some. But okay.
Well, it depends. So the dailies have simply been just fish, and there are fishing challenges that will slowly fill out. And a lot of those are just fish, any fish. The challenge is just any fish, but the actual daily quest. So essentially, you have to start this quest. You go, you talk to the fisherman who, and Murgle, exactly. And he pushes you over to Captain Raymond, and Captain Raymond will actually talk to you. And you learn a bit about fishing, and it's kind of funny talking to them. You get this strange dynamic. I was telling you earlier that I feel like Captain Raymond, he's a little bit here under duress. You know, when you get his backstory, if you start pushing him for information, it seems like he may have kind of been captured, and
maybe not there by
swallowed
choice.
by Linda
Yeah,
Lee.
Maybe not there by choice.
Right, exactly. And he says, Linda Lee, she's a fine boater. She was. And I think so that was his boat. And yeah, just kind of
All right.
things went awry.
Linda Lee's got to be a reference to something. Does anybody know Linda Lee? What that could be? Is that a song? Is that an old like West Virginia boat thing? Like do they have boats in West Virginia? Like, come on, too many mountains, right? No boats.
Not that I
They
know
got
of.
the rivers.
Yeah. I'm being
Yeah.
silly.
Bruce Lee's wife is Linda Lee, right?
Ooh, that's gotta be it.
I mean, I don't know, but yeah, I'm looking. I don't see any Linda Lee song or reference, but doesn't it sound very much like a 50s song, you know,
Yeah, it
too?
sounds
or-
like Peggy Sue. That
right,
sort of
Barbara
thing.
Ann. Barbara Ann.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that could be. Oh, also I should mention while we're talking the topography of the area, there is a beaver dam on the south side with usually at least 3 or 4 beavers there. It's really cool.
Is there an
So,
actual
yeah.
structure of a real dam? I don't know if I've ever seen
It's a
that.
bunch of logs piled up with some branches. Yeah, it's a
That's
beaver
brilliant.
dam. I mean, not the best dam, but
No, that's
real beavers could do better is all I'm saying. You know, but I'm not there to judge beaver dams. I judge camps, not dams.
you should go around and find NPCs locations and just do videos where you're critiquing their shitty buildings. That'd be really funny.
I mean, you got to comment on some of them. Some people live in squalor in the wasteland, seriously.
Yeah.
And picking the same root vegetable over and over again, like, boring. Like, what kind of life is that? Live a little. Come on. What's wrong with you?
Just every day picking that same vegetable.
Damn scabbard kicking this car. He's been kicking this car for 10 minutes. I walked away. I came back, still kicking the car.
still-
What's he going to get by
You
the
still
stub toe?
kneel down and wiggle your hand and then stand up and walk away and then kneel down and wiggle your hand. What are you doing under there?
But you get the story from them a little bit. And so you start the quest, and essentially they just guide you into how to start fishing. You get your essential fishing gear from the fisherman, and Captain Raymond will then give you some instructions on what you got to do. And so first you have to just catch any number of fish for him, bring him back, and then he explains how fishing works and how fish bits work and grilled fish and giving your fish bits to Linda Lee, which, by the way, Linda Lee will eat your fish bits, and when she's full up, she'll give you a legendary prize. So
Which is okay. How many? Okay, so I only did that once, where I just fished like a bunch, where I was just trying to figure out and to see what the sort of variety of fish, because usually they'll be like, here are 5 fish, and here are their 5 glowing varieties. You know, like just do the same thing like 5 times and 3 different variants of the 5 thing, you know. So I was just kind of seeing what kind of fish they have, and I was just fishing over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And I was like, ooh, this guy's going to be impressed. I brought like 50 fish. He's going to be out. He's like, looks at me, he's
he don't
like,
care.
nah, nothing impressive here, buddy. I'm like, well, fuck you, man. So he's like, and here's how you make fish bits. And I'm like, what the fuck? All these nice, juicy fillets sitting here, gonna be perfect dinners, and now you're just telling me how to chop. So explain to me how the actual thing, because
So,
I just kind of
fish
dumped
bits-
it in the tub, and she gave me a piece of armor. I'm like, sweet, all right.
Yeah, for people who play like Borderlands, she is the butt stallion of Fallout now.
What is that?
Actually, if you haven't played Borderlands, that probably sounds pretty weird. Or Tiny Tina's. So, Butt Stallion is this magnificent horse you feed and it gives you
Butt
legendaries,
stallion.
right? Right, Ray? You know.
It craps out
Yes.
legendaries.
Yes, it does.
That's amazing.
Like a rainbow.
Oh, that's
Like a
so
rainbow.
fun.
Linda Lee's a little bit less rainbow-like, but still, same basic idea. So you're putting the extra bits in the chum bucket, and she starts out starving and then hungry and then doing well, almost full, and then when she's full up, here's legendary. So you give her enough fish bits to get a legendary, but that's kind of a waste of fish bits. Fish bits are really just an ingredient. So even though it sounds like they're all chopped up, and I mean, I guess they are, you still use fish bits to make grilled fish. So I guess
What?
you're like
That
reconstituting them
don't
like a
make no
Salisbury
sense.
steak.
We're making like the McDonald's Filet-O-Fish.
Pretty much. It's a bunch of fish put together to make one big grilled fish. Which, by the way, the grilled fish is pretty funny looking too, if you actually like cook it and take a look at it. But so for grilled fish, you just take fish bits and salt is the main thing. You need a lot of salt, which has been one of the fun things. A lot of people running around. We were comparing notes the other day, running around finding great places to get salt. There are a bunch of them, obviously most of the restaurants. For instance locations, you can get a couple in the Wayward every time. I think there's only one at the Overseers.
They should put a salt mine location in somewhere.
The lower level of the Riften Fisheries is pretty good.
Lower level of the Riften.
The Riften Fisheries.
That's
Wait
a wrong game, buddy.
Second.
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
There's tons of salt piles in those barrels down there, though.
But yeah, so salt's becoming a very valuable commodity for people who want to grill fish and make other things. But there's a few recipes you can do with them. So essentially, fish bits are just an ingredient for cooking. You can give the extra to Linda Lee if you want. That's an option. He teaches you how to do it. But, I don't know. A lot of people feeding her. I'm not sure that that's really... it's a random chance. I think you can get a 1, 2, or 3 star. And there's no guarantee it's any better than what you get with Murgle Burgle and throwing in your other stuff or actually fighting. So it's just another way to get legendaries. I didn't get anything great from her. It's funny, I did a Murgle Burgle run. I went and I stocked up on a bunch of my legendary cores. Or whatever they are now. I always forget which one we still have because the other one's gone. I don't need to remember.
Modules or cores.
Yep.
That's the game of the century.
Dropped like 3,500 script on that because I had so much built up.
Nice.
And then I took the rest and I tried to roll some stuff. And Murgle Burgle is if you do the 3-star option, doing better 3-star armor than she used to. I heard that she was able to do like Thorn and stuff now, but I was getting legendary Thorn and Solar. You can almost get yourself a match set if you dedicated to it. I rolled maybe 10 pieces, I think, maybe 15, and I got 2 Thorn and 1 Solar, just in however many I did. And I think it was only 10.
That's awesome. I think
cool.
They should do legendary fishing poles where like you can have 2-shot fishing poles where you actually cast 2 lines and catch things simply, or like I don't know, something where you cast faster, or I don't know, legendary fishing poles. Come on.
So you can upgrade your poles. So that's another thing to remember.
All right, I didn't even think of that.
And everyone's going to learn about this as they go. It does do a pretty good job explaining things to you. But you don't actually need to ever equip a pole. You have your pole, as you found. You look at the water, you get close enough where basically your feet are touching the water, and you press and hold X or whatever you do on your other systems to start fishing. You throw in a bobber, and it's a mini game. You wait for the bobber to actually get down and the fish tug on it after you put your bait on, and then you play a little mini game where you've got to kind of go around a radial sonar. You've got to keep the fish pulling into the middle and keep it in the wedge. And what the different mods do. So each day when you finish the daily, and we're jumping around a bit here, but basically, after you do the initial fish, blah, 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 you got challenges that. So each day you can get a daily from him, and he will tell you to get 7 fish from a certain region. And that's all there is to it. It can be common, it can absolutely be common and generic fish. It can be fancy-ass fish. It can be any kind of fish. But just get them from the region, bring them back to him, write it in the ledger, and once you do that, you can keep the fish of yours to keep. So you don't need to give fish bits to Linda Lee. You don't need to do anything with them besides catch them.
So what's the benefit of keeping them? We can cook them, and are there wall displays of them yet or anything? Or how does that work?
Yep. You can mount and display them.
Okay.
Otherwise, you just cook and eat them. And, of course, there are the rare ones that you may want to hold on to for a bit till I'm hoping to do more with them. People have been talking like, man, I would love to have like a fish tank or a fish pond, especially the special axolotls.
I assumed that happened. They didn't even give us a tank or a pond to have stuff in. Wow.
No, we don't have that yet. Nope.
Huh.
Right now it's just catch and eat or catch and feed. You can't even catch and release. I guess you could press X and drop it back in the water, but just drop in paper bags.
I'm going to drop them in my hot tub out back. How long will they last?
Yeah, like you're saying, that's what I want. I want to be able to do that. Like I said, don't use the goo tub, but the other tubs, absolutely.
I don't know if their gills can handle goo.
So eventually there'll be a system to automatically reel them in. Because once the luster goes off of the fishing game,
mm-hmm.
Someone will mod
people are going to want to.
Yeah, they did that in No Man's Sky, where initially, you had to reel it in yourself, but people stopped fishing because it's annoying.
It was a little bit too tough. Yeah, right now, it does start out a bit tough. So that's what I was going to say next. So after you do this daily and you get your 7 fish, you bring it back to him. And when you do, you might get a plan. You might learn a plan for various camp objects or whatever, or you might learn something that you can use to mod your fishing rod. You mod the fishing rod at a tinker's bench. So you just go there, you click mod, and it pulls it up, and you can mod your fishing rod right there. Different reels, basically, like there's mark 1, 2, 3, and I think 4 reels, and they basically just let you move the sonar faster in a circle. And then some of the other things will make it so that like you have a wider wedge to pick it up in or a smaller wedge, but different things. Like I think one of the early ones I got was an aligned, not reel, an aligned something. Anyway, maybe it was some kind of bobber thing. But when you get that, it makes the wedge only like 75 degrees across instead of 100 degrees, but it moves like 30% faster. So it's a trade-off. A couple things like that. So you upgrade your rod. And if you want to catch the tougher fish, because when you do get to the uncommon regional fish, the rare fish, and the tough stuff and the axolotls, they move. They're moving around that a lot. You got to bob and weave. You got to fight. It's rough. And honestly, you'll end up losing some bait because I found, especially to start, whenever I got a fancier fish, it would usually escape. So it's not the easiest.
So can you see what fish it is before you reel it in?
Nope. You just have to assume kind of by how much it fights you. Kind of, you know how it does that in Stardew? You don't see the fish in Stardew Valley, do you? Ray, I don't know if you've played Stardew Valley.
No.
I figured Jen talked to you about it as much as she did me back in the day. So
yeah, it's true.
But yeah, it's kind of the same thing where you just, you're getting a fish, and if it moves a lot, if it's a feisty fish, then it's probably something special.
Your game the dial will spin more. I initially thought, oh no, you can't see the fish underwater until it like hits, and then you don't actually ever see the fish like approach it from underneath or anything. But then I was looking closer, and I was like, wait a second.
You do see shadows sometimes.
Can you? Yeah, I do see a little. So it's not definitive. You can't tell what kind of fish it is, but you can see like
you touch it.
Stuff wiggling underneath your bobber sometimes.
Yep, you can see stuff, and you really, it's just based on how it fights. What's funny, and they're joking about in chat right now too, is that even the junk fights you. You know?
Oh my god, I caught the best toothbrush the other day, mounted it on my wall. It's beautiful.
I've caught like 4 or 5 toothbrushes already.
Why toothbrushes? Who's chucking all these toothbrushes into the creek? What the fuck?
Ghouls, They keep the hairbrushes in their inventory, but they chuck the toothbrushes there.
Oh, they gotta have their quaff,
Exactly. Priorities. But so there are small fish, there's medium, there's large fish. Like I said, they get tougher. But as you upgrade your rod, it kind of counteracts how difficult they are, which makes it more possible to catch. There's also quality of bait. So we haven't gotten to that yet. And this is one of the things that people have found a little bit more confusing to start. So I thought I'd go over it here. So I've got a great chart from Duchess Flame I had shared in the Discord earlier too. So you've got common bait, improved bait, and superb bait. You really kind of want to save your improved bait and definitely your superb bait until you're actually actively trying to catch a rare fish, a local legend fish, or an axolotl. You can do most of your fishing just with common bait, unless you have bait to spare.
What kind of scenario, would I know that I need to be going for an axolotl or regional fish or something like that?
Vault Dweller, right?
Yeah, so every month there's going to be axolotls on the map in 2 regions. And there's it's a different type of axolotl, and there's a bit of a little rhyme, little kind of clue thing to let you know where to go. This month, spoilers, I'll solve the rhyme for you. It's the mire in the Toxic Valley, but they made it pretty easy.
Well, what's the rhyme?
But the best bait is a Vault Dweller.
Vault Dweller is nibbling at the toes. Absolutely. Take your boots off, and no, it's fun. So basically, the common bait you can buy right there at the fisherman. You can buy 100 at a time. I have way too much common bait.
That's what I did. I was just like, I'll buy 100, please. You don't need that much, guys.
The improved bait you'll get after doing the daily, but you can also get elsewhere. So the ways to get improved bait. So actually, let's keep going with what I was doing first with the baits. Just kind of explain how it works. So common bait, essentially, you're never going to catch axolotls with it, or almost never. I've heard one person who said they did already. Glowing fish, the tougher fish, is not likely. There's about an 88% chance to get a generic fish, regardless of weather. And then improved bait, of course, spreads out a little more, evens up. You have a better chance of getting things. But still kind of Foshnok's mask level on some of these. Still not great chances of getting them, but fishing is very repetitive. And then superb bait gives you a pretty good chance for most everything. The three kinds of weather that affect, and we talked about how the weather affects it, but also your weather station at your camp. It turns out only 3 weathers affect it, but they took the weather stations and they slotted them in as other things. So for no weather, there's one probability. For nuclear weather, there's another. And then for rainy weather, there's another. Essentially, pretty much every category except for glowing fish, rainy weather is the best to catch things in.
Real? Is that also
Axolotls,
true in real
uncommon.
life?
It is. Yeah, fish come out in the rain, right?
Do they? I don't know.
So that makes
I'm
sense.
not
Yep.
a good fisherman. I have no idea. My dad would have known. I have no idea.
So what counts as rainy weather, if you're curious, is obviously rain, but also for the weather stations, snow, regular snow, aurora snow, and the thunderstorm. Those all qualify as rain. For nuclear weather, the Mothman Equinox weather machine, the purple stuff, that counts. Radstorm counts, and of course, nuke counts. I asked Kat about the Atlantic City fog, and she checked the data mine and said it's not even listed in the data mine files. So they might have forgotten to put Atlantic City fog as a weather option. When and if they do it, I would imagine it would be rain. But right now, I don't expect it to work. It probably counts as no weather until they actually get that fixed in the files. So really, like I said, if you want to do your best fishing, it's going to be in rainy weather. If you're trying to go for rare stuff, and that's maybe when you want to pull out the improved bait and try for the fancier stuff. Besides the axolotls, I lost my chart. There you go. Besides the axolotls and the rare fish, there are what are called local legends. So those fish, there are only 3 right now, but there will be more over time. So we have the fish named Wavy Willard. Guess where you can find him.
What? A gator fish. Is he a gar?
And then we've got the organ grinder. The organ grinder can be found in the Oregon Cave, which is one of those cool new locations we went to. It's right near Vault 76, where the cultists are in the Oregon Cave. And then we've got the real Takenoth, Maubogotten, which very Cthulhu-like name for a fish. And you can find exactly. You can find him in Big Maw over in the mire. That
the Big
giant,
Maw, the hole.
Yeah, the deep pit. Exactly. So we got that. That's pretty much it for there as far as how to get bait now. So like I said, common you can buy. Improved you get after doing your daily, but you'll also get for pretty much any public event, you get 1 to 3 most of the time on that. So I know it's not a lot at once, but say you do 4 or 5 public events in a session, you've got between 5 and 15 improved bait from that. So it's not bad. Even better.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, even better. Caravans. Sorry, even better for those of us who like caravans. Caravans count as a public event. And so those you can start on your own. So you can go down, you can pay your 1,000 caps, start a caravan, get the rewards, everything for that, and get improved bait from that. So you can just keep that going constantly without having to wait for events, make your own. And it's almost like you're buying bait in a way, but not a lot at once. It's still slow.
At the expense of 1,000 caps per, right?
Yep. Yeah, but you're still getting the reward and everything for it.
If you piggyback on someone else's, do you
out.
still get that amount or a lesser amount or something? You know how you can piggyback on other people's caravans?
I think piggybacking is the same. Don't count me on it, though. Don't quote me on it. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure the way you get rewards, it would still count
the same.
As a public event. Yeah, and whoever starts it.
Are they, each time they add a new feature, it seems like we're now getting stuff to make gold bullion rewards and this kind of thing reward and that kind of thing reward, and then now we have one for bait is now a reward and stuff. Are they removing any of the other older sections of rewards, or do they just keep tacking shit onto the end of the reward list? Do you know what I mean? Is this new stuff replacing something, do you think, or?
It varies. They rebalance from time to time, and occasionally they will add to a loot pool and just add this in as a possible thing, not an always thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have seen some events at this point, the rewards are longer than the actual list.
They do ... I can't see what's at the end of the list, so you have to open up your Pip-Boy to look at the new just to see everything you got from the list. Yeah.
Yeah, like after Fashnacht, I think that happens sometimes. A few other events for sure.
Absolutely.
So you can improve bait that way. You can also get improved bait in containers. The containers where you get it the most are the lunch pail type things, the blue lunchbox ones.
Oh.
And refrigerators. So people have been trying to figure out where the best place to get those. There are a lot of lunch pails around the pool at the White Spring and a few of the other pool locations that you can go to. There is actually in the Valley Galleria, in the appliance store, there are tons of refrigerators in there. So if you go inside the Valley Galleria Mall and run around and go to that store, you can get a bunch out of the refrigerators quite often.
Does the can collector, what is that one called? Does that help proc double?
Can do.
Can do, is that what it's called?
I don't think improved bait counts for that, but
Okay.
I can't say. But I don't think that they probably would have added it to that perk. But one of the other loops I've heard people are doing that kind of works well is there are a number of those lunch pails around the Watoga train station. So you can do, say, the Watoga station up to the Super Duper Mart there, around to the appliance store there,
Oh, man.
and then over to the Valley Galleria, and that'll give you a good chance for a bunch.
Of
in just
course,
one little
someone's
trip.
already got a loop developed, right?
You know, we're always always thinking, always trying to game the game. That's how 76ers play.
Yep.
And so those are really kind of the big points I want to make. What the different bait does, how you get it. Currently, Superb is only on the scoreboard, which isn't great because you really need the Superb to catch the axolotl. I mean, you don't need it 100% to catch the axolotl, but the best chance you're going to get without it on the axolotl is like with improved bait, 5% in the rain or 6% in nuke weather. You actually have a 1% higher chance in nuke weather for axolotls.
1%. All right.
1% higher, yeah, 5% or 6%. So not high in either case.
Well, it beats
So-
0.0004% like a Fashnacht mask.
So you want to save that Superb for when you're trying for the axolotls or trying for, a local legend, something special like that. However, after this season, or maybe even through the season, they start adding it to the Atomic Shop. Because right now it's not in the Atomic Shop. You can't do stamps. You can't do gold bullion. Oh, Minerva right now, by the way, anybody with gold bullion, Minerva's big sale is happening at the White Spring. I'm snapping. I'm excited. I'm also reminding myself, because I meant to do this last night and I forgot to go before bed. Minerva's doing the big sale, and so she's got the most amount of plans she has at once at the White Spring. And when you load it in this time, and if you haven't loaded in yet, be prepared. Your tickets from season 20, 19, and 18, your leftover tickets from the last 3 seasons you couldn't do anything with, they're converting them to gold bullion for you. Which, did you see that, Andrew, when you logged in?
I overheard someone talking about that, but I did not notice it per se.
It was quite a bit. I actually lost a little bit because my bullion I was close to max. I think
Oh, no.
one of the 3 seasons I lost some. Like I think there was not 1,000 tickets, but it was like 1,000 bullion that I lost. Not horrible because the cap is 10,000. I hadn't spent any in a while.
and it depends on what character I opened it up with. I don't know if my ghoul character ever did any of that Reggie stuff. What vault is that? I don't even 94,
79.
72.
Yeah.
What is it? 79. All right.
92, 74, hut. But you'll have some from events and such once you start getting it. But yeah, I'm sure he has plenty of room. So if you got excess bullion, it's a good time to buy stuff with it. Don't forget. The final thing I want to mention, if you're trying to upgrade that rod and you're turning in those dailies to Captain Raymond and putting the fish in the ledger, and he keeps giving you camp plans or nothing worth having, improved bait, and no like fancy rod plans or upgrades, you're not getting it from them. When you learn them, like a lot of things, when you learn them, you won't refine that plan. Okay, so you'll end up, as you know plans, you'll find times where you won't get anything because you already know it, and the game won't give you duplicates. They work to do that. However, if you have multiple characters, and I got a shout out to Fargassier for this tip, Gassy over there on YouTube. He does a lot of Fallout 76 YouTube, and he actually said, I started using my mules, and so he's running multiple mules on the daily. So we can do the daily like 3, 4, 5 times a day with his alt characters. Each of them can run it, and the plans are droppable and tradable. So even though you're one character, might have done the daily, you can do it multiple times a day. You get anything good, drop it for your main character. So just a tip there from Fargassier. And I mean, that's pretty much it for the update. I haven't got too far on the chore board yet. I'm probably rank like 4. I didn't focus on it at all. I was too busy fishing.
So to catch anything outside of the first tier, have you Caught any advanced fishes yet?
I've got, I mean, nothing fancy yet. So I've got obviously the first reel. Most everyone has reel Mark 1. For reel Mark 2, it says you get rare fish in the rain, is essentially what the challenge is called, like, or rare fish bite more in the rain, something like that. They need to give it a very descriptive title. But you need to get 5 sawgills and a couple of specific rare fish for that. I've got a bunch of sawgills. So I've got all that, but there are 2 other raw fish on there. I think, is it a leatherback, I think, and one other, and I don't have those yet. So that's the next one up. So nothing fancy, but I've got both the common and uncommon fish in the region so far.
And I also saw in the Atomic Shop, I believe, or Red, I don't know, a cryogenic freezer or cooler for fish or something. Does that mean that these fish rot over time, which they should, but so in order to do those challenges, you have to have
rot, but the fish bits probably do.
The fish bits,
and
okay.
Food.
All right.
Yep, any food you make for them. Yeah, fish don't though. Fish are static, just like any kind of creature, because you can mount them and do stuff with them for crafting.
That'd be great if they just rotted on the wall.
Fish bones. Which, I wonder if we have Fishbone rewards later in the season. I don't remember.
The Billy Bass that sings Take Me to the River? Come on.
Perfect. But so that's that. Like I said, haven't made it too far there. There's other new stuff that we'll talk about when we get to the Iguana Bits. They're joking they haven't heard the Iguana Bits music. So yeah, this is Fish Bits. We're starting with Fish Bits. Iguana Bits are later.
I was just going to ask Ray if this new fishing feature has been enough to draw you back into 76 just to check it out, or it sounds like perhaps the No Man's Sky fishing was so shitty that it didn't even bother.
Well, so the No Man's Sky fishing minigame is tedious, but the fish rewards are good. So definitely do fishing. Just
automate it so you don't have to do the mini game.
Make it so that it automatically reels in so you don't have to go through that animation every time.
Yeah. Is it difficult at all?
I mean, it's difficult from an RNG perspective.
Oh, like low percentages?
Yeah, fishing shouldn't be difficult. It should be a fun way to while away the time, right? Yeah. Mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And, you can change out your bobber so that something different is bobbing up and down in the water each time. And they've got the bait too. But it's that 15 or 20 seconds that you're waiting is the rod's bent and, you're not doing anything but, holding down the activate key, that it's like, okay, I'm not getting those 15 seconds back.
I could have been mining something valuable.
True. Moldy balls.
You listen to a podcast while you fish. It's a great for chatting with friends, but if you're playing solo all by yourself, listen to a podcast. Put it on YouTube on another screen. It's relaxing. I gotta say, Fallout 76 fishing is not as relaxing as I'd hoped. So I like fishing minigames. That is just the thing that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I did a lot of it in Lord of the Rings Online and a few other games I've played over time. You do have to focus a bit more on this one, but the best part is those 15, 20 seconds where you're waiting for the bite. Because if you don't have to pay much attention, you can just chill. And you chill and then you fight. Then you chill and then you fight.
You listen to a podcast, then you chill. Then you fight, then you podcast.
Eating grilled fish reduces your time to hook, too. That's what they call it. It said reduces time to hook. So you're likely to catch fish faster if you're on the fish. I think it lasts 20 minutes per grilled fish you eat. So good time.
Solid.
But yeah, it's there. Let's see. You can get hooks, lines, handles, bobbers, and reels are basically the different kind of things.
And does
different components
each of
the
those
rod
items have like 5 levels or whatever they?
Just different types.
Okay.
Just different types. Like, let's see, reel mods. I'm just looking them up. So obviously we've got the Mark 1, 2, 3. What else? Here we go. Hooks. I got a good one here. So standard hook, attractive hook, improved bearings, advanced drag. These different things. So like advanced drag, it reduces fish escape speed by 25%, keeps fish on the line longer, and makes it easier for axolotls. Stabilized gear ratio. This is the one I didn't like that I got, the stabilized gear.
Mhm.
It 25% more speed, but it reduces
the field.
size of your wedge.
Yeah, fuck that.
Steady handle is actually really good. Steady handle actually reduces your rotation speed, but it makes it more control and makes it a little bit wider. So that can be a really good one. I think a bigger wedge is more
Yeah.
important than a lot of speed.
Absolutely.
But that's just what I've got so far.
Ray, did you try it at all?
No.
Yeah. Jess, do you enjoy the little mini game? Like, Bethesda loves the pop-up mini game, the lock picking, that sort of stuff. Do you enjoy this one in particular?
Yes, a lot. But I'm going to enjoy it more when I improve my reel. Because right now I lose too many fish to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be successful most of the time,
Mhm.
And right now I feel like I'm losing a lot of the rarer fish. So as I level up the rod, I think I'm gonna really enjoy it. It's like that classic, Bethesda thing in a lot of their games. You get better by doing, and you improve your skill over time. So playing Morrowind. I don't enjoy fighting in Morrowind when I'm whacking a mud crab 40 times and hitting him twice. But I do enjoy combat in Morrowind when I'm whacking a mud crab 5 times and he's dead. So,
I get you.
But that's it for my gameplay. I'm curious if you guys have been up to.
Yeah, the just that mini game. I find it pretty. I guess it's interesting. I don't know. I think my favorite one is the Starfield lock picking of all the mini games that pop up.
Oh yeah, we have to pick between them. I mean, the Digipick is
Digipick
really
is sweet.
use your brain.
It's sweet. I like that one.
Kind of like terminal hacking. I'm one of the few who actually like terminal hacking too.
People don't like hacking?
No, I mean I do. I like hacking.
But
I don't think a lot
people
of
in
people
general out there, really? That's sort of a common.
There are people who like to skip it. Yeah.
Really?
Also, some people just find
like
it
that too.
difficult.
Oh, I mean, it has a logic to it. Come on. And now that I know how to do it, the Oblivion lockpicking is fun. Like, I just didn't understand the mechanic at first, but
It's tough. I mean, even with Ray's method, I've done better. By the way, Ray, trying that on the upstroke and pushing up and just trying to get it on the upstroke as opposed to catching at the top,
yeah.
I do have more success than I used to, but I'm still not great at it.
Yeah. On the tap.
Yeah,
up,
you do.
yeah.
You do have to wait until it is in that pause motion, because there's fast snapback. That one you'll never get.
Right.
There's medium but when it gives you that little pause, that's when you got to jump on it, really start pushing. So, but yeah. Oh, I made a mistake. One of my characters I got the skeleton key.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got really used to using that and
just
switched over to
force
another
it.
character, and all of a sudden snapping. Oh, I didn't even try it. Oh, I hit R to automatically lockpick. Okay. I remember now. This character
Yeah.
have to actually do it.
Once you have the skeleton key, that is the easiest. You just jam on the auto unlock button until it works. If you
Yep.
don't want to play with the tumblers, but you lose half the fun doing that. Yeah, I didn't play any Oblivion this week again. I'm about a week and a half out from my Oblivion play, so I better get back into it.
I haven't done any
You're
of
gonna lose
that.
your scroll.
I remember being confused by it, but then later enjoying the what's it called? Where you have to influence people. That sort of weird
persuasion
wheel,
minigame.
persuasion wheel. Yeah, that thing. I haven't even tried that. Is that still exactly the same as it used to be, or did they
In Oblivion?
tinker
Oh
with
yeah,
that?
I love
Oh.
that game.
Yeah, now it's in color.
It's in color now. That was the big improvement.
They made it easier. The first
they
time you do it, you
did?
still have to watch their smiles. But once you watch their smiles, or frowns, the greens are good and the redishes are bad. So it makes
What?
it easy to remember.
Like a stoplight? Oh,
It's very intuitive.
yes. Very
No,
nice.
it does help. What's funny is, Ray, I didn't realize that. Like the first week I played, I was still going around the circle of time, smile, don't smile, smile, don't smile. Okay, and just trying to remember, like up, down, left, right, like trying to remember where they were. And then I caught on about a week in about the colors.
Yeah. But they don't give you a lot of time unless you level that skill, because as you're sitting there looking at them,
They start dropping, yeah.
the count goes down. So if you take too long to act, you can lose more than if you picked a bad, attribute. So
Right. Yeah, but I'm pretty good at persuasion. I riz them all. I riz them up. I get that max on them pretty
So-
easily.
So, like, improving your barter skill or something, is there a way? Gosh, like how? Okay, maybe it'd be like the more your probably agility, the higher your agility in Fallout 76, the wider the selection zone would get, or something like that.
Oh, in
You know what I
fishing, if you were
mean?
to do it that way,
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, yeah, you
Come on,
could
that
make
would
it
work.
related to your special. It would
There
make
should be perk guards.
It'll make everybody, with their bloodied builds.
Bloodied
you know,
fishing.
Specials of 30 or much higher and everything.
I
Broken.
was a little ashamed. I went to the water's edge before I learned how all the fishing stuff actually worked. And I just chucked in a few grenades first just to see if dynamite fishing worked.
Did you find the note about it?
That does not work. And then I found a note about it.
Yes, nice. Yeah, there was a note from a Raider note about fishing with dynamite next to a bloody mess, so it might not have gone well for him.
And then I was just sort of looking on Facebook, and Lacey did the same thing.
Did she really?
Everyone wants to try this fucking dynamite fishing. Yeah. And then I sort of read a little bit about it, and it's actually real practice, and it's super shitty and super dangerous. And
We're always looking for a shortcut. It's the human way, and sometimes it's not good.
Very inhumane way of fishing. Don't do that. But in a video game, let me do it. Come on. So anyway, we were getting into Ray's gameplay, so no fishing. What else did you get into this week, sir?
Still playing some Oblivion. Not as much. Again, this week, heavy on the Palladarium building. I think
The
I've done
Palladarium, that's the capital in Oblivion?
Yeah. No. So I think I've gotten most of my foam in now. So do my final carving, get everything plastered up, and see if it works.
Is applying the foam like a multiple stage process? You kind of build it up?
Yeah, and you have to wait for 24 hours between
To
each
let it
time.
cure and stuff.
Yeah.
And
It's the 24
then
hours
you
in
can
between where you
change-
get plastered. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I squeezed in some Oblivion. I did my level 1 character, got him started.
How
Only
lo-
now I can't really figure out what to do with him because I
how long
can't
will
take
he be
him through
level
the
1?
main quest.
Yeah. Don't get any XP.
Well, no, you can get all the XP in the world. If
don't
I
sleep?
started sleeping,
Yeah, don't sleep. Is that it?
probably be at level 25, 26, something like that.
So you're just preventing yourself from collecting the... What benefits do you get by leveling up? You get to add perks or
You get
traits
to
or whatever
increase
they are.
your strength,
And your endurance or whatever,
your
right?
agility,
Okay.
yeah, endurance, intelligence, willpower.
Okay, right. So you get to boost those, and then get access to the perk trees, whenever when you increase them, right? Don't you? Isn't there
Well,
something like that?
when you increase your strength, your hits are harder. When you increase your intelligence, you've got a bigger magic pool.
Is there like how Skyrim has the stars, the perk tree
No.
stuff? Is there
Mm-mm.
anything like that in Oblivion? No.
No.
Okay.
So I'm leveling up all my skills. So my blade attacks are more effective. My
Those are
Um,
increasing.
you know all those skills are leveling up, but so they're making me more effective.
But
Everybody around me is still level 1.
I was gonna say the world is not leveling up around you, correct? Like everything is staying at the same level 1. So that's a big benefit to not sleeping.
Yep.
How much Adderall are you on, and how how many days do you think in game?
Well, fortunately, this thing is not got. Well, there's a lot of days because I do a lot of waiting when I'm grinding, magic skills.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So
Why
I
is that?
haven't looked
'Cause
at it, but
they
it's
can only
probably,
be used like once every 24 hours or something, or what? What's that?
No, you wait an hour to speed because it only takes again 10 or 15 seconds to go through and wait an hour, but it could take you 25, 30 seconds to wait for your magic bar to refill.
So waiting is really just a way to more quickly fill your magic bar. Interesting.
Yeah. So I had originally thought about doing the main quest because I went in and did the Kvatch and all that kind of stuff. But the problem is that one of the things that you have to do for Martin is give him a Daedric artifact, and the two lowest ones are the Wabbajack and Azura Star, but both of those are level 2. And so I would have to level up once to be able to get those. So I haven't decided exactly how hard committed I am to doing that quest. The other thing, you can't do Mage's Guild because the Anvil quest for your letter of recommendation requires that you sleep at the inn.
How dare
and then I can't join the Dark Brotherhood because you have to sleep after you murder somebody.
You do, yeah.
So your options are limited if you want to not sleep.
Maybe these are built-in level points where you have to. I mean, luckily you only gain 1 level per sleep, right? So if you work it out and you max, if you can get through the entire game and everything, only sleeping like 4 or 5 times, that's not bad.
Oh, so
Yeah,
it
You have to
doesn't.
decide when and where to do it.
Yeah, where's the challenge in that though? I want to do it with never sleeping.
Level 1 only. I wonder if you could also use console commands, put yourself back at level 1. Like, just console commands. So
Well, it'd be
you do
easier
your
just
level.
to console command a Daedric item into your inventory.
Oh, fair.
But still working on my Starfield outpost building. So that's been interesting. I've realized that, so whenever I build an outpost, I'm typically looking for a space that is with 2 biomes that connect so that I can increase the number of resources that I can mine. And the place that I found on Aquila, because I wanted to have a base on Aquila, the terrain is not good for a big, spacious, multi landing pad type area. And so I've shoehorned everything I can into this tiny little hillside plot. And so that's been a challenge, but now I've got 3 other bases that are connected to this one. Everybody's sharing resources and getting all that kind of stuff going. So
That's a good project.
my
That's-
bullet
I'm
farm is going well.
glad you got it set up.
The roots have taken well on the bullets. Growing season
Yeah, the bullet trees
coming
are,
in nice
are
this year.
flourishing.
Good crop of shells coming in. Look at them.
Yeah.
Feed the nation, shall we?
Been fun in the Starfield chat. Lee is still mostly playing Starfield for the last several months. You're in there too. We had R2Z hop back in there after some fun time in Oblivion. Our buddy Keith just started Starfield for the first time. He's going on a trip. He's like, played for 2 days, like, I'm going on a trip. Hopefully I don't forget what I started. But yeah, just a lot of people jumping into Starfield. Great to see people still either coming back or trying it for the first time.
What brought that about? Did something happen with Starfield recently? Was there a new update or something?
I don't know. I wonder if it's maybe just the Oblivion excitement too. That got people excited about Bethesda in general. If they played that for a bit and wanted more and they hadn't done Starfield yet, or it's just been long enough they're waiting. And of course the showcase is this weekend and we might get more Starfield news.
I guess I had forgotten that. Yeah.
We'll talk about that later a little bit, but yeah, so I'm glad that experiment's going well for you, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that is interesting.
It's always
So
fun to run around in Starfield.
just don't sleep. All right. So I need a tutorial in. It's not camps. What are they in space? Settlements?
Outposts.
Outpost. There you go.
Or space stations, depending.
Space posts. Because I have like a newish character that I keep like starting up and playing a couple hours on and then like sort of abandoning and then coming back a few weeks later playing a couple more hours trying to get excited. And my last thing was I wanted to like, okay, I've never actually built a outpost. Sorry, I almost forgot. I never really worked on that sort of aspect of the game very much. So, all right, I've got this new character. Let's go make an outpost. Okay, found a great spot on a planet that sounds cool. There's not a lot of stuff, and oh look, there's a couple of things we can mine. We'll figure out how this whole mining resources works. I don't know how any of that shit works. So let's just. It looks like a nice place here. All right, plop down my little beacon thing. All right, let's get to building. Crap, I don't have any of the things I need to build anything. Fuck. All right, quit. And then I'll come back to it another month and a half later. All right, let's try to resume this character. All right, let's get back to building. Oh fuck, I forgot. I don't have any of the things I need to build. All right, fuck it. So like I need to do it on an old character that has all the shit like built up in the inventory so I can have stuff to build with so I don't have to go out and farm all of the if you're starting from scratch, a low level character from scratch and you just want to get to camp building, is there like a good like a tutorial for here's where you go to get all the basic crap you need to build all of your sort of start out space camp? Space camp.
I mean, there may be a few on YouTube, but really the best way around that is I'm going to say creations or mods. I'm sorry.
Oh, you sons of bitches.
Yeah, because so much of it, outpost building, space camp is an endgame activity. Like to a large extent, as you level up skills,
really?
you unlock
Damn.
a bunch of you unlock new furniture and modules and things you can do at your outpost and such.
That's too bad.
The resources, they're not that bad, right, Ram? The resources you can get just through playing the game and going to like UC
distribution in Jemison Mercantile.
Thank you. Just right there in
Clint's.
New Atlantis. Right.
And
in Clint.
Gagarin.
But you can get resources pretty much everywhere. I like UC distribution, my favorite place to go and stock up early. But you can just stock up on resources, and it's not too hard to find what you need.
But this is my
It's
new
just the
character, and I
basics.
just didn't want to have to go through all that crap again. So
Yeah,
it's just like I
but
just
there's
wanted
no
the
other way.
stuff, and I was like, well, shit. If I had Ray and Jess's console command, I could just be like, give me 1 million of this, give me 1 million of that, and I'll build all day.
There are mods
But
to make it
nope.
easier. Like there's Lazy Panda's lootin' mod, where as you walk around, you just loot things as you go. Lee's mentioning one for the buggy that as you drive around, it'll loot as you go. So there are ways to do that. But really, there are just some mods that give you outpost things that are much easier to build, and it costs less resources. I'm a huge fan of Miss O's outpost mod. She's got a couple in there, and yeah, those are really great.
So there's a creation club for Starfield, then, right?
Yeah, creations.
Can you? I assume PC can mod, but they probably don't do mods for Xbox, right? It's creations or nothing, right?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, creations are mods, but the only way to get them,
But they're
just like in
controlled
Skyrim and Fallout,
through
is through
yeah,
Bethesda.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're not going to let you Wild West side load a mod onto your Xbox. I'm sorry.
Those sons of guns.
But they
Jailbreaking
should.
your Xbox. Yeah, maybe they should.
But I'll send you a shopping list, Andrew.
There you
I've
go.
got it written down in one of my
He's
manuals.
got a notebook somewhere.
Yeah. How to start a basic outpost.
That
you
actually
need.
would be super helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should type it up and post it somewhere.
I mean, yeah. And isn't it just probably like 3 or 4 items you really need to buy, right, Ray, in order to build your resource collectors? And then once you get those down, you can start building from there more.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, it's not a very long list, but and you can buy it all from those 3 outfitters in the Jemison system.
Super sweet. I need to get to building. I just never did any of it. It's because I got so discouraged with shipbuilding because you guys have so much fun with it, and I can just never figure it out. No matter how many tutorials I watch, no matter how many hints I get from you guys, it just never takes with me. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just go build a camp instead. You can't. No, not camp. Space camp.
Outpost.
Space camp.
So, and then in your outpost, you can build a landing pad with a shipbuilder on it.
Oh, so you
So
can
you
just
can
do
do
it
your
there
building at
instead
your
of
house.
having to go to town. Okay. Is there a person there selling? Is there like a robot selling you the parts and stuff, or like?
Yeah, it's just a terminal.
Okay. A robot holding a clipboard like the guy to get to that first town. All right, Ray. What else you playing, sir?
So we got an emoji posted.
Oh no.
Yes.
Okay. What was the emoji?
Slice of bacon.
All right. So something with pork. You're getting pigs of some kind, right? You're getting the swine farming mods. You're getting.
No, but something just as tasty. So on Wednesday we got the beacon update.
Bacon beacon. I see what they did there.
Yeah, it's like Orange and Origins. You know,
That's a stretch.
yeah, clever those Hello Gamers.
All right.
And it completely revamped the settlement system.
Okay.
And made it very cool. So, we for quite a while now we've had access to these settlements
Mm-hmm.
where you build up a little town and you've got people running around on them
Yeah.
and everything. And it's really fun, but it's kind of limited in what it could do. Now it's a full-blown system. You can have multiple settlements, and they have different attributes, and you can level them up, and they've fleshed out that whole system, and so now it's a lot better. And so, been having fun with that.
Very cool. Is there like a limited build? It's been so long since I've done anything in No Man's Sky. Sort of like Fallout 76 or Starfield, where there's like a limited build ring, an area to build in, or how do you establish that?
Yeah, so if you're building your own outpost,
Mm-hmm.
it's basically, what is it, 300 or 350 units away from the marker.
And is one unit one pace? You know what I mean? Like one step?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a pretty long way. You can build massive, space.
Yeah, big spaceports even. Yeah. Space camp.
But the settlements are actually a different animal altogether. So this is a community that you become the overseer of. So it's an established town that doesn't have a leader. You become mayor, essentially,
Oh goodness.
and make all the decisions for the town.
All right. I just wanted a place to lay my head down, and now you've laid all these horrible decisions I have to make every day at the now.
Yeah.
Now I'm no longer a space adventurer. I am a local politician. Thanks, Ray.
Oh yeah, because and it's all about keeping up the happiness. You've got
keep
a
the
happiness
up.
meter.
You got to provide the resources. You got to clean up their trash. You got to do all the stuff. Come on, Ray. Or they'll be rioting in the streets. They're gonna set your house on fire.
Yeah, indeed. But you can still just build a simple, camp of your own somewhere else.
What race of things come live with you?
Well, in your camps, nobody comes live with you that you don't hire.
Okay.
In the settlement, there's a collection of all the different alien races. So,
Are there still just the main three?
yeah. Well, there's technically 4 now, because you've also got the new autophage, which are robots.
Right. I remember you guys talking about them too. Right.
So, so that's been a lot of fun. So, been staying plenty busy with that.
Your muscle memory ever get confused between No Man's Sky and Starfield, or you ever think you're playing one but you're actually doing the other, and you're like, oh crap?
No, really, the toughest time I've had is with Oblivion and Starfield.
What's the
because
what's the trip up there?
Mostly the key that you holster your weapon with is different. And so I usually end up pushing the wrong button and then realize, oh, it's the other one.
Do you have the ability to reassign?
Not really, because then you would end up losing the other button.
Can't you reassign that one?
Because
on and
there's
on and on.
yeah, you just keep moving them all around until it's like neither one of the games.
Now you're playing some mishmash between the two.
So, but it's really not that bad. I haven't accidentally slashed anybody or shot anybody so far, so it's all good.
So far, so good. Till
Yeah.
someone loses an eye. Alrighty. Any other gameplay you want to mention there, Ray?
That's been about it.
I'd like to report a major disaster in the
A disaster.
the Fallout Shelter Towers project, where I was going to just build like columns straight up
vertical-
and down to only vertical building.
Did the tower tumble?
The tower. Ooh, I wish it tumbled. Is it possible for a pit to tumble? A vault to... I guess it could collapse in on itself. I really have zero clue what happened. I'm up over 32 people, something like that. Last weekend, everything's like flowing, got pretty good efficiency. I'm not wanting for anything. Happiness is up over 80-90%. Nothing is in the red ever. Always have plenty of resources. I'm about to start sending people out on quests and stuff. Add the overseers. 'Cause I haven't added a lot of the auxiliary rooms just because I wanted to keep everything tight and efficient with how only having one room. Like I don't want to like expand and do a lot of excess stuff that would take lots of power. So I haven't been adding a lot of the extra rooms and stuff yet. I was just about to start doing all that, fleshing out the towers a little bit, get to the bottom row and go over and then start going back up for tower number 2. It was great. We're going to have a groundbreaking project. Everyone had their little shovels out and everything. It was great. But then some sort of disaster happened. I really have no idea what. But I logged in on Sunday, and I guess, from what I can deduce, I must have either fallen asleep with the controller in my lap Saturday night, or, I mean, that's really the only thing I can think that happened. Because when I logged in Sunday, I had 4 people.
Ouch.
I was like, what? Everybody moved out of the towers. No, but it was just like, you know that thing where you have to click the button to clear the dead dwellers? It took me so long to clear all the dead people out of the towers. And it was like, oh, this is really sad. So we had a little funeral procession for 90% of the towers. 4 people remain. Luckily, 3 of them were female. So that lets me restart populating. So I am back up to 18, I think now, which all I'm concentrating on is breeding them. So they don't really have enough power or water or food. So they're all like 10% happiness and all like have just a sliver of life, mostly irradiated red. And they're all saying stuff like, I need a stem pack, please.
No.
But they're just like
well,
little...
isn't it in times of natural disaster that we tend to see a population boom?
Like people know we're about to die. We need to reinforce the population here a little bit.
I'm pretty sure that's not what they were thinking about, but that was the end result.
Yeah.
So what do you figure, that the Death Claws figured out
the
how to
world
push the
goodbye.
elevator buttons, or
You know what? It's like I might have met that threshold. I think it's 40, and I was right about there. I might have hit that threshold where Death Claws started coming in, and if I fell asleep, with the controller in my hand, that could a Death Claw could, if I wasn't paying attention, a Death Claw could easily rip through the entire. That's probably what happened. I wouldn't assume fire. I think they'd be able to fight a fire. With
that
even with
many
me
people, you would
asleep.
think they
Yeah.
But you
So
can't have that many people in a single room, so it has less. It would spread faster.
Oh my
wouldn't it?
God.
Because it's a 2-layer room.
I'm not used to that, because I've been doing these staggered rooms for so long. Like I've been playing survival mode. I always play survival mode now, but like I have certain things built into my playstyle now that I never do to prevent those
Fire
things.
breaks.
Yeah, to prevent fire breaks and mole rat spreads and all that stuff. You can build in a certain way so you have fewer disasters. And now that I'm just building a tower straight down, I forgot how fucking fast, like whoosh, like it's like you built your house out of straw. It is crazy how fast those fires go up.
Yeah,
and
they're literally living on
yeah.
top of each other.
And they spread
And-
up and down. It's not like they only go up. They go up and
Mhm.
down. So like does fire do that in real life? Like does it, if you start a fire at the 5th level of a building, will it also burn the 10th level as quickly as the first level? I thought it would just go up. Do they
It
burn
would go up
down
mostly, but
too?
I'm sure it could work its way down.
fires
over
burn
time.
down?
Depends on the ventilation system.
Like think about like incense. Incense burns down. Other things do.
Oh, you're right.
Just not as fast.
Yeah.
Candles burn down.
it's
right?
all
Yeah,
about
stuff does burn
airflow.
down. Okay. It just didn't make sense to me. I was like, why are the fires going down? Stop it. And they seriously built the vault out of straw. Stop doing that. Anything else? Anything else? Oh, lots of fishing.
Yeah.
Lots of fishing. But I still haven't done any like upgraded bait or looking for other things. I was literally just getting the pole in the water. Haven't done any research on how to do any of the upgraded stuff. And I was kind of surprised because I had a camp up in the Toxic Valley, right on the body of water. I was like, oh, awesome. Let's go see what kind of different new thing this is going to bring up. So I was assuming that the water in the mire would have a different fish than the toxic water up in the Toxic Valley. I was thinking, ooh, we're going to get like glowing fish up here or like
Right.
some variety up, but like it was just, I just was catching the same
Yep.
5
And-
fish over and over and over again.
And they do, like we were talking about, they do. Each region has their own fish, but the generic fish are the most common everywhere.
Yeah.
So if you're using common
I was
bait
using common
and-
bait, yeah.
and you're not in the rain, if you're common bait, it's regular weather, you're going to 88% of the time be catching regular common fish.
Yeah. The most, let's see, did I catch anything? Nothing special by any means, but it's probably the most difficult. The thing that I had the most, that wiggled the meter fastest,
Mhm.
that I actually landed was a
That you
walleye.
landed.
Yeah, I landed a walleye like twice. I don't know if that.
I haven't got a walleye yet. That's the only one I'm missing, like for the forest uncommons. I think it's in the forest.
Oh, that is an
Yeah.
uncommon. Sweet. So I got a walleye. But yeah, it was wiggling all over the place. And I don't know if anyone else has this phenomenon, but the mini game of the when you land the fish, it brings up the circular dial. You have your field of red, and then the diagram of the fish with a line. It draws the fish in towards the center the more you reel, but it swings the angle around the circle, and you have to put your field on top of the fish, right? You have to move the field. Now, my brain, I don't know why, anyone out here have the same phenomenon? My brain wants to take the fish and put it into the field, not take the field and put it over the
I
fish.
start going the wrong way
I
about
go the wrong
20% of
way
the time.
every
Yeah, at
time I go the wrong way.
Oh,
So,
really?
so
Yeah.
I can't land the fucking hard ones because I lose that half a
Because you're
second.
too far away
Yep,
right at the
yep.
beginning. Yeah, no, I was doing it a lot at first, but now I think I'm down to maybe 20% of the
My
time,
brain
so.
just wants to put it in the red, put it in the field. Like it wants me to put the fish into the field instead of like point the field at where the fish is located. It's
Oh.
backward of what my brain wants to do. It's so hard.
Okay, I looked it up, Andrew, and technically the walleye is a common, but it's a medium-sized common. So it's one of the
Oh
less
no,
common
there's different
commons.
sizes of different classes.
Yeah,
Good
so
Lord.
the one that we're all getting, the brook silversides, the red bellies, and the sun screams, those are small. Those are the most common. And then the medium-sized commons are the chain pickerel, the ridge trout, the smoky salmon, the walleye, and the yellow bullhead. But anyways, all of those 8 are available all over the map.
Yeah, that's. So I have not caught anything.
You need a
special
sawgill.
yet.
Are you sure you haven't? You probably got a sawgill by now, I bet.
Yeah, is that a special one? Is that a?
Those are regional ones. Yeah, they're a
Regional,
little bit
okay.
tougher.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So I just was playing around. Had a camp on the water up in the Tox Valley, so I spent a little time up there trying to, I don't know, build a little fishing outpost. What's your best way? What are you doing for your fishing? Are you using the floating raft thing out in the middle of the water, or are you fishing from the edge? What do you like with your
Doesn't really make a
if
difference.
you're designing a fishing camp?
I like docks. I think docks are cool of some kind, something to
I-
stand on. Yeah, you could put a boat. That's great. Fishing at my ash heap camp at my castle. I've actually been fishing just in the little watery area out front in the moat, the moat of my castle.
That's great.
I have fished at the theater camp. You cannot fish in the water next to the Riverside Manor for the Mistress of Mystery, because the water basically,
it's not deep
if you can
enough.
swim, if you can swim, you can fish, but you can't swim there. However, that is one location where if you go underground, you can fish underground there.
You throw your underground bobber at a wall of water.
Exactly. It works.
You throw it up at the So cool. I want an ally. They don't call them allies anymore. What are they called now? Partners? Brothers? They used to be called light allies or something like that.
Hey, bro, I got a new bro on the scoreboard, bro.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're still light allies.
Are they?
They're still light allies.
Because I finally found it was like, oh, I thought this was called something different. I feel like they changed the name, but I want one now that is sitting in a little rowboat that you put in the water, like a little fisherman guy who's your light ally that fishes with you and like.
You're talking about in the camp menu. So yeah, Rando just mentioned they're called dwellers in the menu now.
Dwellers. What are we in the fucking vault?
Right?
We're out and about, baby.
Technically light allies on the plan.
Yeah. So yeah, I want one where you have to have water at your camp, but you put a guy or a lady in a little boat, and they like sit there and fish and whistle or something.
Yeah,
Come
it would be great if we
on.
could use photo mode while fishing too. You gotta know, I tried a
You
bit
can't. Oh, really?
because you only have the 3 different camera angles,
Uh-huh.
and officially you can't use photo mode. It's very difficult. So I actually got it to get into photo mode once, trying to finagle my buttons like I do.
Mhm.
But it was a bad angle, and so I'm like, oh, I don't like this, and I got out and think I could do it again, and I couldn't do it again. so
Oh.
so I don't know. It would be nice if they gave us a fishing emote. Right now we've got the fishing emote without a real fishing rod. You know, you're just kind of minding
Yeah, you're
fishing.
like, whoa. You're like,
Mhm.
It's like, are you doing the movie camera thing? 2 words, movie camera, 2 syllables, sounds like. It's like, no, that's my fishing reel. Oh, sorry.
Pretty much.
I thought we were playing charades. My bad.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Andrew, I looked ahead on the scoreboard just to double check again on the seasons menu.
Yeah.
There is a sea serpent statue at the end. I forgot about that. The Nessie. Remember you asked about Nessie?
Oh,
I need
love
that.
Nessie.
Looks so cool. And there's a houseboat too. I want to fish off of a houseboat, 100%.
Sweet. Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
You mentioned a dock. That would be sweet to park a little houseboat out front.
Yeah, absolutely. Oof.
And there was a sale in the Atomic Shop, and I have not played in a while. So I had 5,000 atoms sitting around, which is a lot for me. I usually, Jerry would be like, yeah, here, look, here's 60,000 atoms. And I'm like, how do you do that? But I always spend mine. They burn a hole in my pocket when I get them. I was looking at all I think I got like the new fishing bundle with the floating raft and I guess the cryogenic cooler and stuff comes with that. But I haven't played around with it at all. The one thing I did get, which I had never purchased, because I thought, oh, that's unnecessary. But for half price, they have posted the additional camp slot. So I was like, ooh, yeah, that's half price. That is worth it for me. So now I am upgraded from the 2 to the premium 3 plan for my camp slots. And that's a big change for me to be able to just plop a few. How many are you up to, Jess? Do you have 8 or 9, 10 camp slots?
Oh, yeah, no, I've got all 10. I've got all 10.
You
yeah.
can have 10, and you have 10.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
You have to buy the last 5 or maybe more, but I don't remember anymore. I've had 10 since they let me have 10, and then I
Yeah.
had 5 when they let me have 5.
Well, I
So-
finally added a 3rd, so it's really made my building blossom.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so I'm going to try to build a little fishing thing. In the new area, Skyline Valley, down there's something called maybe 3 Ponds. Is that
3
a
Ponds,
location?
great location. Yeah, some beautiful
Yeah,
waterfalls.
Some
and all that.
trickling waterfalls into 3 different
Mhm.
levels of water and stuff. So it's like, ooh, I could probably build some fun stuff here.
It's a good spot.
Yeah, and I'm sure lots of people are building there too. But I was just like, ooh, this will be nice. But the ponds are pretty tiny, and I was trying to do some vertical relief building, and I forgot that, you don't get nearly as high of a bubble as you do in like Fallout 4. You know what I mean? Like how high you can build before it's like, no, you can't build. So I was trying to build up the top of the cliff and then something down into the pool, but like when I was up on top of the cliff, only my feet were within the yes, you can build here bubble. So like I had to go down the cliff face a little bit more to build stuff, and it was a little weird.
Yep.
So like I was like, that's too bad. But
you got to find the right spot to launch it, because you get 4.5 stories above your camp and 4.5 stories below your camp from wherever you launch it.
4.5. Okay, I don't think I knew it was 4.5.
Pretty much, yep. Because you can't. I call it that because you can't get a full 5 stories. Like you might be able to get a 5th story wall up there, but you won't be able to build on the roof.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I was just gonna start a new little camp and build a little 3-tiered fishing camp that I can't build the 3-tiered fishing thing in. So I'm gonna concentrate on one little area. Yeah, just putting some beach chairs around the water. It's been a while since I've dug into, a lot of the variants of stuff that I just sort of unlock as I go.
And there's been so much you've unlocked over time you haven't used.
That I haven't used. So I'm having fun sort of but holy shit, there's just too much in the menus.
Imagine how it is for someone who bought everything.
I know I complain about it, but holy shit, it's just like the menus are a nightmare mess.
It's the worst.
Incredible.
It really, I think that has been the number one thing that has slowed me down from building the last 2 years, is that I get in there and there's just, I know what I want and I can't find it, or I don't know what I want and I'm surfing and I can surf for half an hour before I hit the end of a menu.
Yeah, they need filter or search or something. Yeah. I don't know what is the answer, but not whatever they're doing. Don't just keep adding to the pile because that's what you did before. And just because you've always done it this way is not a good reason to keep doing something. You know what I mean?
And they did say last year, well, a while ago, that they are working on it. They know it's important. I actually know that they have been working on it since last summer, at least, and that it is a priority for them. But it takes a long time, and there's other things to do, and they have new content to do and stuff to add. So I think they said that they never said when they were planning on implementing it, but they did come out and say that they were working on it, that it was a goal. So now it's been publicly stated. And I mean, I realize that a few things are publicly stated that never happen, but most of the time when they publicly state something, it's going to happen.
But they're still trying to get to the bottom of the list. They haven't figured out what all is in the build menu themselves.
They're adding faster than they can organize, between seasons and events and everything. It's incredible. The system was not meant to handle it either. I mean, when they launched 76, do you think they had any inkling of an idea that this build menu with their objects in their PvP fighting survival game was going to be like 30 times or at least 20 times the number of items that it started out with? Incredible.
Well, of course not, because they would have organized it differently had they known.
But and it's like they even underestimated it when they did the revamp. When they rebuilt the way that the menu worked, because it was even worse before. So when they first started out. You
mean when they rebuilt the 76 menu from Fallout 4, or you mean from when they reorganized 76 in general?
When they reorganized 76. When they changed the way that the build menu was ordered.
Forgot they had done that.
Because they added the recent and the.
Yeah, they added recent.
They added new and recent, right? Yeah.
Yep. And obviously they've added new categories too and moved a few
allies,
things.
Stuff like that, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it's the stuff they're adding to the game is growing faster than the people that. The 2 guys in the back room that are trying to organize it.
I think it's a hamster and a wheel, Ray. I think that's honestly who's running this department.
Yeah, or the guy with a dartboard. It's got all the category tabs, and he just throws a dart, and whichever one it sticks in.
It's like, that's Larry, you've hit that category 83 times in a row. Don't care, buddy. I keep hitting it. We're adding
I
more.
feel that way sometimes. Yeah. Miscellaneous is such a weird catch-all. But then, where are you going to put some things? Weather machines? I mean, I guess it makes sense they're in appliances, but most things in appliances aren't like functional. It's just so weird.
Yeah, that's odd. I always thought that they needed the appliances category specifically needed to be only objects that provided some sort of action and or benefit and or did something.
All of the
no
rides
stationary
and
things.
special boosting things, same kind of deal.
Exactly,
All the special
yes.
boosting games and stuff in one category. Probably with the
Right.
rides,
Yes. Anything that does something, put those together.
Mhm. And maybe besides floor decor, do like a table decor. So like all the small items, all the knickknacks and bric-a-bracs and
Yeah.
fracks.
Are you putting your Christmas
know.
decoration miniatures down on the floor? I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna hurt yourself that way. It's like a Lego.
You can trip
Miniature
over
Eiffel
that.
Tower.
Right. Step in the
Pain.
middle of the night. Ouch.
Yeah, exactly. Don't step on a Protectron. But
Oh man.
anyway, they
I jabbed
have
my
said
fucking foot on a Protectron the other night. Oh, terrible.
the worst. They have said they're working on it. Like they have said that they are planning on it. And honestly, when we get to the bits, we'll wait. We'll talk about it.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much all of my gameplay. We do have a Fallout Terminal Velocity and a game time, and then we will get to those bits here in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and check in with our good buddy Solior, who is with the Crimson Caravan. Is that New Vegas? Remind me, Crimson Caravan.
New Vegas.
Okay, right. So we're in New Vegas with the Crimson Caravan. Oh, yeah, that's right, because Solior is giving us a nice little preemptor to the next season of the Fallout TV show, which we all know will at least have something to do with New Vegas, we think. He's perched on the cliffside there, looking down into the valley of New Vegas. So let's go ahead and see what our good buddy Solior has been up to, and as he tells us about a Crimson Caravan.
Hello, fellow Wastelanders. Eric, aka Sulior here, and I'm back with another Terminal Velocity from New Vegas. You know, like I said last time, I wasn't finding a lot of information in the main locations that you would expect, like the big faction hubs. So I thought I'd go through some of the side areas, if you will. Some of the places that you might visit a little bit, but it's not one of the major locations. So I thought I'd start with the Crimson Caravan. Now, they are a fairly prominent faction in New Vegas, specifically if you're dealing with the Rose of Sharon Cassidy. So, yeah, let's go through some of these. This first terminal is at Alice McClafferty's desk. So, this first entry is titled New Canaan Branch Proposal. And it says, the Mormons are warming up to the idea of a Crimson Caravan branch being established in New Canaan. Naturally, the taxes are such that we'll be at a severe disadvantage to their own caravans. The long-term solution is to overwhelm them with a flood of cheap NCR goods. I'll have to call in some favors with our contacts back in California, but the potential profit margins are worth it. Alright, this next one is a reply to an entry regarding Henry Jameson, and it says, efforts to encourage Henry Jameson to resign have so far failed. His parents are proving stubborn as well. Obviously, they don't want him around any more than I do. Getting the New Vegas branch up and running should have been a simple job for him, but this place is still as crude and primitive as any Frontier branch. Very irritating. Alright, this next one is titled Gunrunner Tariff. That's encouraging. And it says, Alice, your push for a new tariff on gunrunner weapons didn't make it past the Senate. They've got too much pull in California. We're going to have to find some other way to get the upper hand in the weapons market. Jason Tagg, Modoc Branch Manager. And for those of you who don't know, Modoc is a small farming town in New California, found about 15 squares east and 3 squares south of Arroyo, so this would be Fallout 2. All right, this next one is titled War Effort, and it says McCarran has requested more frequent supply runs to their outlying outposts. I've been able to negotiate additional terms in our favor, but I may need to lower our hiring standards to meet the demand. I'm already concerned about the reliability of some of the caravaneers. Were it not for the work contracts, I know some of them would have run off a long time ago. Nobody seems to believe in hard work anymore. Alright, this next terminal is located on Don Hostetler's desk. That's not an easy word to say, let me tell you. This first one is titled Memorandum, and it's dated 5/17 of 80. So that would be 2280. And it's to Don Hostetler from Angie Beckers. And the subject is Tuesday meeting with accounts receivable. And it says, Mr. Hostetler, just a reminder, your meeting with the accounts receivable was moved to Tuesday. I've cleared your schedule and moved your lunch plans ahead to 1:45, Angie. And I really hope I don't have to say his name much more, because it's a pain. Well, here we go. So this next one is a memorandum from 6/2 of 2280, and it's to Don Hostetler from Angie Beckers, and the subject is emergency meeting. And it says, Mr. Hostetler, god damn it, I really need to schedule an urgent meeting with you. Can you clear an hour this afternoon? I promise it will be worth your while. Angie. Alright, this next one is the very next day, so June 3rd of 2280, and it's to Don Hostetler from Angie Beckers, and the subject is a reply to You Are So Sexy. And it says, I had an amazing time last night, Don. Aren't you glad you decided to stay late? Can't wait to do it again. XOXO, Angie. P.S. I found some pre-war lingerie at the market today. I think you'll like it. And that is the last terminal entry at the Crimson Caravan. So some interesting stuff, more personal stuff than anything else. But I think the biggest thing from a lore perspective is the fact that they were trying to get a branch established in New Canaan. So, all right, until next time, I will see you all in the Wasteland.
To participate in the Fallout Terminal Velocity project, send your special letters, holotapes, and terminal entries to thefalloutfeed@gmail.com.
Alright, so tell me about the Crimson Caravan, I guess.
Hostetler. Can you say it 3 times fast?
Hostetler. The only reason I know, because I'm a Colts fan, and we had a famous player, Jeff Hostetler, back in the day.
Jeff Hostetler.
Yeah,
it must be an ancestor of Don Hostetler we're talking about here.
Absolutely. Well, ancestor, right, that is. So, yeah, the descendant, right. I was trying to think of the word descendant, sorry. Don, did you say? Don Hostetler?
Don Hostetler, yep, and his daughter Alice. And so who Don is in this case, Don is an accounts manager for the Crimson Caravan.
So they're like a real legit company. This is not like a post-war, like,
it's a post-war
company.
But they're kind of one of the most legit companies.
Legit, like they have
America.
They have an accounts department, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, exactly. They've got bosses. They are the premier trade caravan. They run the most trade caravans around the area. Kind of like Bunker Hill in Fallout 4. But if like Bunker Hill had like 7 or 8 locations like Bunker Hill, and they sent people back and forth and such.
And
so they're well established.
And Rose, I'm gonna fuck her name. Rose of Sharon Cassidy. That's not her name, is it? Something like that.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does she have to do with the caravan?
So, her quest is intertwined with that, and she has her own caravan. That she inherited from her dad, and because of stuff that went wrong with her caravan, and she had a proposal from the Crimson Caravan to trying to buy her caravan, but she was
they wanted to buy her
But because things went wrong with the caravan, which if you go through her quest line, you find out, it was a setup, and the Crimson Caravan,
she caused it because she didn't want to sell, right?
Yep.
And the Mormons, how did the Mormons? Let's see, they have a whole like section of New Vegas, right? There's like a camp. Or something?
They not really know. So you're thinking of the old Mormon fort.
Oh,
which
right.
is
Okay.
on the north end of Freeside, and that's where the followers of the apocalypse are set up.
Oh, but
And
those
so
aren't the
that's
Mormons.
the old Mormon fort. And New Canaan is a separate area. New Canaan is essentially up in Utah area.
Yeah,
And
Salt Lake City, for
Salt
all
Lake
intents
City.
and purposes. Yeah.
And that's where you're going to be going with the caravan. So when you get stuck in Zion during the Honest Hearts DLC, you're supposed to be doing a
Okay.
caravan between New Vegas and New Canaan.
Right. Okay.
And so they're trying to get set up there and get trade routes going and stuff. So yeah, New Canaan is a real place in the game, but you never actually see it yourself.
And the terminal entries in Alice's computer are all related to quests that you get
Right.
from her.
Thank you, Ray. Exactly. So you want to talk through any of those? Like I mentioned the Don Hostetler and working with him to get his daughter back and stuff. But what's the other one?
Henry Jameson, he's the guy that you need to run off, either convince him to leave on his own or, murderate him.
Yeah, because he's the guy that's supposedly running the branch, right? Even though Alice is really in charge.
Yeah. Yeah, he was supposed to set it up, screwed it up. She came out, set things straight, is
Okay.
working on that. The mention of the gun runners. So she sends you to steal blueprints from the gun runners because they're making better guns. And
Yeah, right.
she wants to stop it.
And that's their factory location is right behind Vendertron, right? With the best gun runner weapons there.
Yeah, Vendertron is the company store essentially.
Mhm.
You can also buy stuff from the guy under the bridge,
Yeah.
but the Vendertron is
He's the
main
premier vendor. He's the main dude. Absolutely. Welcome,
Yeah.
sir or madam.
Yep.
But yeah, so those are the journal entries. Crimson Caravan, cool terminal to read. I like the fact that the one Stolior is giving us an excuse to talk random lore too. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of the lore, I was wondering, and this has got to be impossible. So, Jess, what I want you to do is this impossible feat of, as the Fallout show Season 2 is airing, I would like to be playing as close to possible corresponding quests in Fallout New Vegas as
That's
a
the
round
plan.
table. How are you gonna
plan.
predict what they're doing so that we can organize the round table quests about the theme of the show? How are you gonna do that without knowing what the show
We're just gonna be in the realm. We're gonna be in the area. We don't need to be exact. Whatever we choose, we don't need to be exact. We can just take it slow. But I have a feeling they're gonna take it slow too, getting in there. I don't think they're gonna immediately find themselves in New Vegas.
What if that was just a tease and Season 2 really takes place in the Capital Wasteland? Like what if it's just out of left field? It's just like, oh, that storyline is pausing right now.
I mean,
They tried.
Their subterfuge is amazing because all of the leaked set pictures were from New Vegas.
Yeah, that would be next level subterfuge. But
No,
I'm down.
Those were on
Happy as I
purpose leaked to distract you, to lead you on the wrong trail, to really avoid you from the actual cool stuff from the underground secret movie set that they built in a bunker under Washington, D.C., where they have real super mutants. You didn't know that. They have real super mutants, you guys. We're going to see them.
That
Your
would be
fears,
amazing.
folks.
I was going to say we're going to see them, but you don't see it. I feel like you don't see percentage-wise a ton of super mutants in New Vegas. Do you guys feel like that they are of a lesser import in New Vegas? I feel like they're not saturated as they are in Boston.
They're not saturated, but in a good way. They make a little more sense.
Yeah, I mean they're in a lot lot places.
Are they
You've
frequent?
got them in Novak. You've got the one you've got to deal with. Black Mountain.
I
Yep.
just feel like they're all over fucking 3 and 4, and New Vegas they have lots of other like buggy type stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you don't have as many of the patrolling groups.
Yeah, they're not random enemies. They're not random encounters in the
Yeah.
same way. In New Vegas, no. New Vegas, you've got the enclaves of the ones there. You've got, the Intelligence Super Mutant Enclave. You've
Huh?
got Black Mountain. And then you've got the
Black
Night
Mountain,
King.
right? And the Nightkin,
Yeah.
right? Oh, I always forget about the Nightkin. Yeah, those are basically super mutants.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
At the rocket factory.
Right? Oh, right. And the invisible, the Nightkin with the, what are those
Yep.
called? The invisible pit boys. What are those called? Stealth boys? Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
the Stealth Boys. Yeah. I mean, technically, I think Nobark had it right. They're actually chupacabras. But, So, yeah, but it's more deliberate. They have a story reason for being where they are. They're placed specific places. Whereas in 3, they are a bit, but it's more like super mutants have taken over all of downtown. So they're mostly Vault
Right.
87 and downtown is kind of the story reasons for 3, but that covers a huge area.
It
And then
does.
Fallout 4, they just become a random enemy because the Institute, created some and unleashed them
Well,
into downtown.
They're in every other location as you go down to like Faneuil Hall, and they're like you go 2 blocks down and they're in this tower, and you go 2 blocks down and they're in that church, and you go 2 blocks
Yep.
down and they're just fucking everywhere.
There are some in Cambridge, and then once you get to the other side of the Charleston River, they're all over down there. Absolutely.
I really enjoyed the it's 15 squares south of here.
2 reference.
Yeah, I like the square movement. That's good. And the terminal entry, says, someone said no one seems to want to work anymore. And I just thought, man, how hard were the people working at the very beginning of time that we get lazier each generation? Because they've been saying this since the beginning of fucking time, right? So, like, how hard were those people working that we just can keep getting stuff done, but we're still getting lazier every generation? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, when you start off with every waking moment having to do stuff to survive.
To stay alive, right. There is no comfort. It's just survival, right.
Yeah. It's like either you're dead or you're not.
True. Very true.
So every advancement that we've made as humankind has provided us with the ability to
Not
have
work.
more free time. Yeah.
Love it. And I jotted down accounts receivable here because I was so blown away that a post-war company was organized enough to have an accounts receivable department.
Yeah. Well,
amazing.
and that's the job she sends you on to McCarran Airport, is to go collect money from scientists that
Pay up,
was,
scientist. Shaking down a scientist. Come
not
on,
paying his
nerd.
bill. So yeah.
Pay
And
up,
when,
nerd.
when you tell him who you're from, he's like, oh my God.
Okay,
I
so
don't
he
want
pays
Alice
up.
mad at me.
Yeah. And the last thing I have written down here is Angie said to Hosteller, "Oh, you're so sexy. I got some pre-war lingerie.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
Pre-war, cool." But then that had me thinking,
What's post-war lingerie?
what the fuck is post-war lingerie?
Oh, God.
It's when your threadbare clothes are on their last
With
gasp.
a gas
Yeah.
mask of some
You got
kind.
enough holes in your sack shirt that it's kind of hot in a
like
weird way.
A teddy bear and a skeleton doing something weird behind you in the scene.
Some kind
I
of
don't know.
Mothman regalia, most likely. Yeah, exactly.
Ugh, weird. Yes, all
Or
right.
lingerie is the best.
Thank you for the Fallout Terminal Velocity. Like the outro says, if anyone else would like to participate in the Fallout Terminal Velocity project, is just a way for us to propagate the Fallout lore and just find fun little Fallout stories hidden within all of the terminals, notes, newspapers, books, terminals, etc. So hit us up, the Fallout feed at gmail.com, and we'd like to hear all of your favorite terminals and stuff. Always a good conversation, Sparker. All right, so we have a little bit of game time before we hit up in those bits. So we have been going with this generic pop sort of theme, and I feel like we're beating a dead horse to death that's already died twice. Let's keep fucking killing this horse.
Never too
Let's
much soda.
driving into the ground. So this week on Mountain Dew or Mountain Don't, we're going to do it with root beer, and we're doing root do or beer don't.
Are you guys ready for the great new game show, Mountain Dew or Mountain Don't?
For the energy to let you swing, make Mountain Dew your thing. Get the barefoot feeling, drinking Mountain Dew.
All right, so we all know how the game works. I'm just going to list you. I've got 10 items here, 5 real, 5 fake. We're going to bounce back and forth. You guys just tell me, is that a real or a fake root beer? So we'll start with Jess this week. I think we started with Ray last week. We'll start with Jess. So, all right, Jess, how about Dog and Suds? Is Dog and Suds a real root beer?
One thing I love about root beer, it's got like these down and dirty, kind of homey, but slightly indie names.
Aren't they
like,
great?
Root beer is a hipster drink. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, in a good way. I love root beer. Obviously, it predates that, but hipsters like root beer. So I'm going to go with Dog and Suds is real.
Dog and Suds is real. I love Dog and Suds. Good root beer. Ding! Thank you. All right, Ray, over to you. Barrel Brothers. Is Barrel Brothers root beer?
I'm going fake.
That is a fake one. Good job, Ray.
Good job, Ray.
All right, back to you, Jess. Red Barn. Red Barn root beer.
Red Barn root beer. Those red barn walls in Fallout 76 are just too damn bright. Have you ever thought about that? Like,
No, you
everything
don't like
else
the color?
faded,
You wanna-
worn,
you-
destroyed. I mean, obviously we could do fancy stuff at the comic shop, but those red barn walls are too red, so I'm going with fake.
That is fake. Good.
Oh, I was
job,
right. I
Jess.
clicked the wrong one. I buzzed myself.
You are correct. Wonderful. All right, Ray, back to you. Sassafras River. Sassafras River root beer.
I'm going fake.
That is also fake. Good job, Ray.
We are 100% correct so far.
Jess, back to you. Mug. Is
mean-
Mug a real root beer?
Mug root beer is real.
Of course Mug is real. Everyone knows Mug. Ray, back to you, sir. How about Sprecher?
Fake.
Sprecher root beer is indeed a real root beer.
Real buzzer.
Hey, okay. All right. Ramblin'.
I thought Sprecher's was fake too. I mean, I
Really?
feel like they make a good strudel, but I don't know. What
Sprecher
I got?
strudel. Ramblin' root beer. Ramblin'.
Ramblin' root beer is real.
It absolutely is. It's my favorite. I don't know if they make it anymore, but when they used to serve it at Rack's roast beef restaurants, I don't know if Rack's is a regional
Yeah,
place.
my pappy
Oh,
definitely
God.
stocked that in our machines growing up.
Fucking loved Ramblin'. All right, Ray, I think we're back to you, sir. How about Barks? Barks root beer.
Come on, Andrew. I'm only supposed to get the fake ones.
Only fake one, sorry.
Barks is a Coca-Cola brand.
It is a real root beer. Barks, the one with bite. Do they still make it? I haven't seen it in fucking years.
Yeah,
Oh.
they do, but it doesn't have bite anymore.
Oh, they
It's
took the
wicked
they took
popular.
the caffeine out?
Yep.
No, it still has caffeine. Did they take the caffeine out?
They
I
did
don't-
at one point. I don't
Oh,
know.
that's
I
a
haven't-
bummer.
I haven't looked at it in a long
The
time.
one with bite was their whole like shtick with
Yeah,
it.
that was when it was owned by a different soda company. but
Oh, and the
then
Coke
Coca-Cola
acquired
bought
it
the brand.
and took the
Yeah.
caffeine out. Why the fuck would
I-
they do that?
I thought it still had caffeine, so I don't know. But yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of like how some orange soda has caffeine, right? Last week's.
Does
Which
it?
one is it? Is it Crush that has? Yeah, one or two
Nuh-uh,
orange sodas
really?
have caffeine. Yep.
No way. I had no idea. I assumed all like the grape pop, red pop, orange pop. I assumed all of those were just
Yeah, no, they're like Barks Root Beer has it, and like one of the popular orange
I
sodas.
had
but I'm forgetting
no
which
I
one.
had no idea. It's orange, the one with Borange. All right, who is up? Jess, are you up? I have no idea
Me.
where we are.
I'm ready.
Jess, you are up with Ranchero. Ranchero root beer.
Ranchero is not real.
It is not real. Good job, Jess and Ray. Finishing out our list tonight, Lancaster. Lancaster root beer.
Now, that sounds super hipster.
Super hipster.
does.
So I'm going to go fake.
It is fake. Super hipster. Lancaster root beer. All right, guys. Thank you so much for playing this week's edition of Mountain Dew or Mountain Dew.
Good job, everybody. Well played.
You guys nailed them all. No, Sprecher was the only one you guys missed. Good job. You guys
Yeah.
nailed them. All right, so let's see what is up in the world of Fallout news.
Jessica, to the office, please. Jessica, to the office. Your iguana bits are ready. Please come pick them up.
Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper.
What's that? That Dr. Pell?
that Dr. Pepper.
That's that Dr. Pell.
I love that, man.
The best. We needed it. Chat needed it. Everybody was ready. So Iguana Bits. First news, just kind of surprise drop. completely not Fallout related, but I put it on the list because I wanted to let people know. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 Enhanced Edition just got added to Game Pass this week. So if you enjoyed Baldur's Gate 3, or you enjoy D&D in general, you always wanted to go back and try some of the originals, keep in mind these were late 90s games, but, I mean, they hold up. Baldur's Gate 2 is really, really good. Baldur's Gate 1 is good as well, but they both show their age. I feel like Baldur's Gate 2 makes up for it more, but the Enhanced Edition's easy to play. It's on Xbox and PC on Game Pass now, so yeah, if you're a Game Pass member, it's free.
Is it like isometric team-based, like turn-based team?
Isometric party-based,
okay,
yep.
Party-based, whatever. Okay.
Yep. It was one of the first of one of those in that style with the whole party and such.
I
Really
might
good.
check that out because you know how I've been feeling with the retro games recently.
Yeah, I don't know if I would recommend it because I love that game. I even beat it back in like 2016 when I played again, 2016 or so. But it is not like the other retro games you're playing, but I mean, you enjoyed Fallout 1 and it is a little closer to that.
Yeah. I just like old games.
I love old games too. I'm with you there. So anyway, they're in Game Pass, they're free, and that's pretty awesome. I already installed it for sure, and I'm probably going to play a little bit just to see, but I won't let it suck me in. So let's talk more about this update, okay? Because we got a few things to get into. We talked a bunch about like the actual ins and outs of fishing last week, as far as like the AMA, what we're expecting, and now we already talked the real fishing in our gameplay this week. But the update added more. I am really emotive today. I'm clapping. I'm snapping. But the update added some perks and some perk changes and some weapon damage changes too. And first of all, I just have to say, shotguns are back, baby. They are so good.
I saw you post that. What happened? What did they boof?
We are so back.
Not boof. That's the wrong verb. What did they boost?
They boosted a lot of things. So let's talk about the combat rebalance. So we know that over the last year, they've been changing the way some things work, the way limb damage and different weapon damage and how things apply, condensing perk cards, kind of simplifying. But a lot of what they did, outside of like the new onslaught system and a few things with explosive stuff, really felt like it was more nerfing things. Like there were ways to make it work, and it was making a wide variety of weapons viable, but there were still some that just felt too weak. And they were adding tougher enemies, and it still felt too weak. So they added a lot more this time. Here's kind of what they're explaining. They did in their article about the patch notes, they talked about it a little bit. They said, and I quote, "Last year we kicked off our long-term combat rebalancing project with Skyline Valley. We started this work wanting to make sure combat felt more interesting and engaging. Most, if not all, weapons felt satisfying to use. All builds and weapons should have a reasonable amount of viability. Editorial note here, like handguns and energy weapons, which were so bad before. And thank goodness they already fixed energy a bit and handguns a bit, but they've gotten better as other things come in. Next, they say manual aim should be satisfying and effective while still letting VATS perform well. The majority of players should have an opportunity to participate in group content. And let's reduce the need for tag the mob playstyles, i.e. everybody has to jump in and has to tag it before it dies to count." So those were their goals, all good goals. They go on to say, with the changes made so far, they've seen a significant improvement in the variety of range weapons being used. There are also fewer difficulty spikes in the early to mid-game, which is really helping. While we've made significant progress, the next few updates will include a few larger and more impactful changes that represent the culmination of much of the balancing work we've done. This gives us a solid new foundation for future content. So, what did they do? They boosted a lot of weapons, y'all. They really boosted the damage in a lot of weapons. So we've got
You said something about mid-range spikes in there? What was that?
Talking about, you remember how we used to talk in the past about how between like level 20 and 35 or 25 and 40, like that range, it got a lot more difficult for a character coming up solo playing. Like you were keeping up
dip in effectiveness. Okay, right.
Exactly. It's between quests you can do, like suddenly you're doing the Rose quest and you're trying to head into the mire.
And you're way above
your
stuff, yeah.
And they fixed some of that with One Wasteland for the lower levels, where lower levels were boosted, but the mid still had a bit of a lull. So they say they've smoothed it out a bit, but in a good way, where you can feel power growing. But let's just talk about a few of the weapons that got things fixed. So, harpoon gun. Nobody really used harpoon gun, but there it is. But one major change they did was changing the range damage reduction. So, when you shoot a gun and it has a listed range. When it's outside that range, the damage drops. It used to be, for a lot of weapons, it would drop to like 10% or 25% immediately after that range area. And that was one of the reasons why bows were so effective, because bows didn't have a range drop. So you could use a bow and you could hit something 200, 300 meters away and you'd be fine, still get full damage. Whereas other things like a lot of pipe guns and rifles, they would get 25% damage reduction.
Interesting.
Like 25% total damage. Or in the case of shotguns, 10% of the damage. It was major. So they have reworked a lot of those. Combat shotguns, rifles, pistols, pipe rifles, the pepper shaker, a bunch of stuff like that, they get 50% damage reduction now. So much better. Instead of having it go down to 10%, you're going down to like 50%. So that's way better. Additionally, they lowered the AP cost for a lot of weapons, including like the disintegrator, the handmade assault rifle, combat rifle, fixers, a bunch of things cost less AP so you can use them more. And here's the really exciting part. Beyond fixing the range drop-off on every type of shotgun, they have also boosted the damage. So the list of guns they boosted damage on is huge. There's probably 30 or 40 of them in here, but it includes things like the handmade and assault rifle, the fixer, laser guns, railway rifles. Here's an example. Okay, so let's go to my baby, the double barrel shotgun. Base damage of 140, now base damage of 204. That is like a 30% increase. Submachine gun, which is a rapid fire automatic, 29 to 47. That's like a 40% boost. Like, they really boosted damage output. Some are less, like combat rifle is 40 to 53, or the fixer is 40 to 59. Well, that's actually still good. That's almost 50% boost on that one when you add it up. And since fixers are great for sneak, you're getting even more with that boost there. So anyway, just a lot of boosting on a lot of weapons, and it really, I think, is going to make you feel powerful again. I'm once again, my shotgun that used to one-shot things in the past and sometimes two-shot, that became 3 or 4 shots most of the time, is now back to 1-shot or 2-shot. It's not magic anymore. You remember that brief period we had the magic shotguns?
Yeah.
Sorry, wistful thinking. Remembering it wistfully. It's not back to that level, but it's at the point where I can go into a nuke zone now and, hit a level 60 super mutant warlord in the face with a shotgun, and he might go down in 1 shot. And if not, he'll go down in the second for sure. And that's a major improvement, because that's kind of what it should be with a highly spec double barrel and a good build.
Yeah. Well, and, it's definitely what you want if you're using a 2-shot shotgun. It should never take more than 2 shots to kill anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it makes more sense for the weapon, and it's more fun for a build. Makes you feel powerful. But this is across the way for a lot of things. And sneak damage, Ray. I'm not that you're playing right now, but you'll be glad to know sneak damage went up by a good 20 to 25%.
Ooh. Does the double barrel shotgun have 2 triggers so you can shoot each barrel individually?
No.
It fires both shells at once?
Yep, it's a blast, and it only does 2 shots before you have to reload.
Well, but it's 2 separate shots.
Right. Technically, yeah. Technically, it's 1 shot.
So
it does. But it's not 2 triggers.
So it does do individual. You do get 2 shots. It doesn't do a double blast. It does 2 individual.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't
shots.
shoot both barrels at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess technically, I never really thought of it that way. But I mean, if that makes sense, because it only has 2 shots.
I don't know anything about weapons, but I assume a double barrel shotgun shoots both. If it only has 1 trigger, it shoots both at once, right?
Right. You would think, but it doesn't.
They each have separate action.
So it must have something in between that
all
blocks it
double
off.
barrel shotguns have 2 triggers.
Yeah.
In real life,
Wait,
they do.
2 triggers?
And 2 hammers. Yeah, they're stacked one right behind the other one.
Wow.
So you pull back partway, it fires the first barrel, and then you pull the rest of the way, and it fires the second barrel.
That's pretty awesome.
I had no idea. I shoot them in video games, not like in real life. That's awesome.
Yeah, and they would. I mean, if it shot both barrels at the same time, it would just flat.
Okay.
It's hard enough
to just shred whatever's in front of it.
Recoil, from a single shot, but you took 2 of them together, you'd be laying on your butt.
So I'm looking it up, and classic ones, they have the 2 barrels and 2 triggers and can be fired simultaneously or sequentially. But obviously it sounds like sequentially was normal. Then it says on modern double barrel shotguns, they often only have 1 trigger. and an automatic or manual barrel selector to select which barrel you're using. Wow, funky.
Barrel
I
selector.
had no
you
idea.
Can swap
And-
barrels. Crazy.
Most common double barrel shotgun is called an over under. So they're not side by side.
Yeah, they're up. Yeah.
They're one over the other. That way your targeting remains the same for both barrels.
Yeah, you don't have to shift slightly. Yeah.
Yep.
You shift up and down versus left and right, which
Which
But-
it already moved itself up
yeah.
when you fired the first one.
So does
But
it
across-
always fire the does it take that into consideration and fire the top barrel first and know that the kick is going to pull it up so that the second shot is going to come from the bottom barrel? Does it
you,
do that?
You still have to reset your shot
Okay.
because otherwise you're going to shoot one at the target and one 30 feet over its head.
Straight up in the
And-
sky. Yeah.
And I'm sure different guns have probably different configurations too, right? Like, might be the classic way of doing it. But so back to the weapon changes and mods and all that. I won't get into everything, but I will say the only ones that have themselves slightly nerfed is sneak damage and critical damage was reduced on some automatic weapons. So people who are in the stealth commando build, who are always sneaking and using automatic weapons, those barrels are going to do slightly less damage when in sneak or critical. And it seems like there are some changes on some of the mods for plasmas and such. The other thing I want to mention, and there's a lot more to it than I'm bringing up, but the other things I want to mention is there are some new perk cards. So also, the thing that they had said before about a lot of enemies being no longer immune to crippling, that has gone into effect with this update. So now you can cripple limbs on pretty much any enemy. But there are a bunch of new perks. So they renamed some perks and changed what they do for rifleman, for science, for commando, and for shotgunner. Very cool stuff on these. But the new perk I need to shout out is called Number Cruncher. Number Cruncher is awesome. It's a brand new perk. Exactly. In perception. And what it does, it adds 2% damage per AP point spent when you're shooting a gun. So if you're about shooting a gun and it costs you 10 AP, you're going to get 20% damage on top of everything else. So I think every build, if you use VATS at all, will benefit from Number Cruncher. It costs 3 perk points. It's worth it. I actually reworked my build specifically to bring this in. And I think it's one of the reasons why I'm feeling way more powerful. It's an awesome card.
So that's perception?
Yeah, I think it's in
Number
perception.
cruncher. Okay.
Yep. And so it's a good one. It's 3-star. And some other ones were reduced that were in perception, like the amount of stars that they use over the last, 2 updates. So there should be room for it for a lot of people. Anyway, that's the big ones. Oh, the other thing. Crafting that used to require certain perk cards mounted has mostly been removed. That's also huge.
Oh, thank
So-
God.
Yep. So you know how, for instance, if you wanted to make a flamethrower trap, you had to mount fireproof, and otherwise you couldn't build it. So now you can. If you wanted to build any traps or defensive stuff at your workshop, you needed the home defense card mounted. You no longer need it. They said learning the plan is enough. We shouldn't add extra hurdles for you. Thank you. Agreed. So that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
They're also, they're not allowing you to pick ghoul perks when you're a human, and you can't pick human perks when you're a ghoul, as far as like choosing your perks.
Of course.
So that's something to know as well.
Is that
Well,
in a
like,
new
but-
edition, or could you before?
You could before, because you couldn't mount them, but you could choose them. So you could be a human and be like,
Oh,
I'm
I
going
see,
to
I
earn this
see.
ghoul perk and that
Okay.
ghoul perk, but you couldn't use it.
Oh,
Now you can't even
okay.
pick
I
it.
get it. I'm not sure when this addition or change or update happened. It could have been a while ago because I haven't looked. But one thing I did notice is that instigating legendary effect is no longer double damage if your target is at 100%. It is now double damage if your target is above 50% health. And I'm just now, holy shit, I'm switching everything from Furious. I'm now going to go look for everything instigating with my melee weapons, if that is actually true, because that sounds fucking amazing. Because instigating was always awesome with that first punch of the Deathclaw Gauntlet. You can really, most things you just like take down in one shot, if not one, and then bam, that second one really takes them down. But with this, if everything above 50%, if that is working, if that works the way it looks like the description does, any melee weapon that I'm going to be using is going to be instigating.
Yeah, because above 50% would be a major
Yeah.
benefit compared to the
If I read
100% only. So it was first hit only.
If I read that right, Holy shit.
Yep. So I'm checking. Yes, you're 100% right. So here it is in the update, instigating 50% bonus damage against targets above 60% health. So
Oh, it's not double. It's only 50%. That's the difference. It used to be double damage at 100%, so now it's only a 50%. Okay,
above
so
60.
Okay, so it's not as magical as I thought. All right.
No.
So there's a
you're
little
not getting
difference. Yeah.
double damage, but you're getting
Right.
it for almost half of their health bar. So
Right. So
that's at least 2
okay,
good hits.
fair trade-off.
Maybe
then.
3.
But not
Yeah.
not the magic I thought. But yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of
But
rework
did you
there.
lose? Did you lose the double damage at 100%?
Yes. Yeah, it no longer does that.
Yeah.
They just completely changed it. But that's what doing a lot of these perks. A lot of these perks are just completely different now. Like same idea, but implemented different.
Yep.
So that is it on the update. I think we covered most all of it. You know, we might discover more over time. Obviously, fishing is the focus, but the combat changes are overall, I'm very much in favor of.
They snuck that in. I really didn't even notice that until I saw something. I was just like, holy cow. So there's lots of. I need to go look at all the cards again, it looks like. See what they
In the Atomic
snuck in.
Shop, not much to crow about. There's the new Gone Fishing emote, which is actually, that's kind of fun. There's a smiley jack-o'-lantern if you want it. They're giving away some improved bait. You know, improved bait is now in the mix of like the free item you get every day. You log in, some mix of improved, and then the rest, the scrap kits, the carry weight boosters, all that. The big new bundle is the Fish Trap bundle, which has a floating dock for you. So if you want to fish on that dock, it's a floating dock. It kind of has barrels underneath.
Yeah, it's cool.
Very cool. You get a fish trap with it. You get the floating debris, lily pad, a bunch of stuff like that. There's also a Winter Mansion bundle, it's a mix of the previous West Virginia bundle and some other random furniture. So good stuff. And then everything from last week is pretty much still in. We still got the Wildcat, new pet, and such.
I'm still holding out for my survival tent ice fishing hut. I don't know if it's going to happen.
It's a great idea. Maybe we'll get it this winter, the fall or winter. Who knows?
That'd be great Christmas package. Come on.
Looking on the calendar, looking ahead, there is nothing for 76 like major on the board until we get double score in the second to last weekend. Double score will be coming in around June 19th to June 23rd. And then, of course, Meat Week starts at the beginning of July. So nothing new there. However, I mean, because we got the new season and we could use some time off from getting so many events in a row. However, the big thing is this Sunday, June 8th at, is it 1 p.m. Eastern, I think, is the Xbox Showcase. So I want to take some time and just talk about that.
Boom.
We don't need to, okay. So here's the overall schedule for things happening. People, if you don't know, Summer Game Fest just aired earlier today, and that's the official SGF showcase, kind of like previous E3, a bunch of different games to different places. You can use from that. Tomorrow, which is Saturday, you get the Wholesome Direct and women-led games showcases are happening, and also the Future Games Show. And then on Sunday, there'll be the Xbox Game Showcase, the Outer Worlds 2 Direct, which will be after the showcase, focus on Outer Worlds 2, and then the PC Gaming Show, Sunday night. So all kinds of stuff all weekend, a lot of stuff on the news. A lot of us here will be watching the Xbox Game Show and probably talking about it in the Discord while it airs, because that's one of the things we do. I know Jerry's like, hey, I'll be here Sunday if you guys are. I'm like, yep, we'll be there. So what's going to be at the Xbox Showcase? We don't need to go through thing by thing. That's not exciting. But will there be Bethesda stuff? Will there be stuff for us? I think probably. But what do you guys think will be there? Like, do you think we'll get anything about Oblivion Remastered, and if they're going to do anything more with it besides just tweak it? Do you think we're going to get the long-awaited trailer for Elder Scrolls 6 now that we had the Oblivion excitement?
What if they announce this like mega fucking huge DLC package of like 10 whole new levels, basically a whole new main quest line? Would that even be possible? They probably could do that, right? Could they add new content
It doesn't
like that?
feel possible, but like, what if they did? I mean, it has been such a success. What if they capitalized on it and said, hey, you enjoyed coming back? 3 months, you're getting a whole new quest line.
That'd be pretty amazing.
That would be insane. So there are some people who think that the Elder Scrolls 6 may have a trailer or some kind of video, finally like a real kind of mood piece setting teaser reveal sometime during the show, maybe even to end the show, because of course that would be an exciting thing to cap it with, right?
For Elder Scrolls
the reason
6.
they think that is because we got the reveal with it's simply the title and a mountain in 2018. We know they're working on it after Starfield. They've been working on it for probably at least 2 years now, a bit longer, of course, in pre stuff. Probably not coming out till 2027, 2028, like most likely. So Todd doesn't like to reveal stuff too far ahead. I mean, we just got Oblivion as a shadow drop, and other games we hear maybe a year ahead, 6 months to a year. But Starfield we had almost the longest because Starfield we got a tone piece 2 years ahead. Then we got a medium-sized direct 1 year ahead when it's supposed to be coming out that November, and then that changed. And then we got a full, really 20-some minute deep dive a couple months before it came out. So if it is coming out, and if Elder Scrolls 6 comes out in like 2 years, do you think maybe we'd get like a little tone piece setting? Am I being silly here? What do you think?
I mean, anything is possible, but I mean, they've got to give some indication that, there's going to be new content in that IP. The remaster will only hold for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about that one is, I think that it'll fall off a cliff when it does. And they've climbed a pretty high mountain with that at this point. And so, that's going to leave a lot of discontent if they don't have any kind of, indication that
follow-up or mention or what have you.
Yeah, we are still working on it, even though we haven't talked about it in 5 years.
Right, because I mean, they've hinted as much, and we know they are, but they haven't done a reveal. So I do think a tone piece, not a long trailer, just about the same as we got with Starfield, where we had the astronaut walking past Vasco into a ship, has to half-eaten sandwich, looking at a cracked helmet, sitting in, blasting off. Like it was a 1 minute trailer, maybe 1.5 minute trailer there, where we kind of said, "Oh my God, it's Starfield," and that was it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we got that. My money is on we probably won't get anything because I do think being 2 years they might wait, but this would be a good time. So yeah, I'm mixed. I just wanted to float the idea. Beyond that, okay, so that's Elder Scrolls. ESO, we'll probably get something from ESO. They always do here's what's happening in ESO, and here's what's happening in Fallout 76. Now, for the Fallout 76 stuff, this is what we were talking earlier about stuff. Do you think we're going to see like trailer stuff about the Ghoul update and the fishing update that's just happening? Like, hey, these are all the great things happening. Or do you think we're going to get the reveal of the next big thing in 76?
It'll be, hey, look at the stuff we just added recently. It'll be Ghoul and fishing, I bet.
My money's on that too. My money's on that with maybe saying, here's what's coming next with just a quick little flash hint, like tease.
It'll be just a set piece with a mountain in the background.
Totally. Brotherhood of Steel, blimp coming in over the mountain. but yeah, I think so. I think probably the next thing for 76 coming up in the fall, I think we might be getting another story expansion of some kind, or a big expedition with story like we did for Atlantic City. Now, I don't know, but they went really hot and heavy last year. We got more than usual. But then this year, all we've got so far are systems. We got the Ghoul system, and we got the fishing system. We haven't had a story update or anything like that since, we had Skyline Valley, and then we had the raids. The raids were a big thing, too. So there have been a lot of big systemic things. But it wouldn't surprise me if we got an expedition or story content. And I also think this fall is when they're going to be doing, maybe in September, is when we're going to get that camp rework. We're going to get the revamped camp build menu. We're going to get the relaxed building and the new ways to build. And we're going to have a whole thing themed around that. Like, I think that's what's coming. But I don't think we get a full trailer for it. I think we just get a hint about it. We'll see. We'll be there live. So Silly Orange Chat mentions, or he could see a new raid. I mean, that's true. The raid is popular. They could keep going with that system. Mix it up a little. I don't know. We'll see. But then Starfield, I definitely think this is where we get the reveal of the big Starfield DLC for this year, the next Starfield expansion, maybe some stuff about their plans and thoughts about where they're going in the game. Hopefully this won't be the last expansion. They will plan on supporting it for years. The game has not had quite the popularity, especially this year, as it did the year before. But last year was still popular throughout the year for the most part, until after Shattered Space. So this expansion might kick it back into gear. So we should get an announcement and a big trailer on that. And I'm hoping they say more about, like, the next year or two, just like the idea. Are they going to continue doing expansions and DLC or just focus on creations. Fingers crossed we get more because I love Starfield and they can keep adding. There's so much they could add. So those are my big predictions. People in chat mentioning the Fallout 3 remakester. If I were to guess, I don't think they'd bring up the Fallout 3 remakester yet this soon after the Oblivion one. I know some people think they're going to announce it, but I imagine they might hold that for, say, Fallout Day.
They're going to
around the time the show comes out.
They're going to ghost drop it and release it only on Switch 2 exclusive for like 10 years. And then you lowly other, PC people can play it later, I guess.
Speaking of PC people, Lee is in chat complaining about the Fallout 4 issues still. The Fallout 4 on PC does still have issues ever since the update. You got to play the old version or not have too many mods or else you're going to get some lag.
More issues than the previous before the update when if you walked downtown it crashed.
Yeah, so the next gen update on console, on PlayStation and Xboxes of all kinds, big improvements. On PC, if you are running mods that affect NPCs, some people are still getting more lag than they used to.
Well,
it loads slower, runs slower, it stutters, whereas it didn't used to.
You know what, punks? Hit the couch. Get an Xbox. That's all I gotta say. Quit your crying.
Ray is
so what you're saying is play the crappier version.
How about the one that works?
And be happy
AKA about it. The better version. Ooh.
Well, no, the better version is the old version.
The one
PC
that doesn't work. Oh, this is the guy. Oh, the better version of my car that's in the garage all the time. It's a better car. Yeah, well, it's in the garage. It ain't out on the road.
The crappier version that works.
My crappy.
Better version
I'm running around the neighborhood in my crappy vehicle. Woo! Honking the horn as I go. Because it works, baby. They did that on purpose. They sabotaged. Once Microsoft bought with all the Bethesda games, they're just like...
Conspiracy theory.
We're going to fuck up these PC people.
Crash all their stuff. But Andrew, everything's an Xbox now. Everything's an Xbox.
You're a secret agent. You're a secret agent. You converted like someone last week. You got them to buy an Xbox, a PC person. You're converting people. You're like a missionary for the religion of Xbox.
Have you heard about our Lord and Savior Todd Howard?
Do you have a moment for our Savior
Todd? His
Todd?
acolyte Phil. Yeah, I can't help it. Love my Xbox, but everything's an Xbox right now. And
yeah, what does that mean? You said there's a new ad campaign or something. Everything is an Xbox.
They did. It was primarily focused over the winter, but they're still doing things related to it. Just talking about how you can play Xbox via the cloud on so many devices on your phone, like you've discovered. Phones, laptops, PCs, handhelds, like more and more things built into your TVs on a couple models. Like more and more things are able to act as Xboxes. I mean, we have one of our friends in the Facebook group. He's been playing a lot of modern Xbox games using an Amazon Fire Stick. And that's all he uses for his Xbox.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, with cloud gaming. I mean, obviously you can only play stuff available in the cloud, but it's totally workable.
Does your controller connect to the dongle? How does that work?
You have to have a controller that will connect via either Bluetooth or the network. I'm not sure which one he uses. There are a couple different versions, but the new controllers do Bluetooth now, so it might be. Yep.
That's
but I mean, cool. And Xbox is just as much as people feel like with it going, a lot of games going multi-plat, that the hardware will be minimized and less important. That's possibly true. But at the same time, they're getting more and more games made by Xbox. You can play on Xbox first, you can play via Game Pass, and they've said that they're still in hardware. So still plenty of reasons to invest and buy it. Actually, on the same news, you might have seen notices that the idea of an Xbox native handheld, they're pushing that back, but they're focusing on reworking the Windows handhelds and partner devices, which I'm actually very disappointed in that personally. I wanted a dedicated Xbox handheld, but they would rather focus on a PC-based handheld like the Steam Deck that's Xbox branded and will play most Xbox games.
Yeah, your phone plays them. We really don't need an Xbox handheld, right? You got your controller in your phone, you got it.
I want one that will play every game I own on Xbox. The thing is, most of the handhelds now will play Xbox games hooked into Game Pass. They play stuff available on PC Game Pass or the cloud with PC Game Pass. That's a selection of games.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I want to be able to play anything on my Xbox library, which a real Xbox native handheld would do. But little by little, they're actually allowing you to play more games you own, even if they're not in the cloud service previously. They're adding stuff to that if you own it, you can play it. So another year or two, we might actually be there where it's pretty much equivalent. But we'll see. So back to the actual conference. I think we covered pretty much everything. But after the Xbox showcase, and there'll be a lot of cool things there. We'll probably see some of Clockwork Revolution, which is that cool new NXL game coming up. There's going to be a bunch of great stuff there. I'm excited about it all. But then there's an Outer Worlds 2 Direct. That'll be probably a good 20, 30 minutes focused on just the Outer Worlds 2 after the main showcase. And of course, we enjoyed Outer Worlds 1. We talked about it the other day. And Outer Worlds 2 looks really cool. So I was thinking, hey, this is a weird random thought. What if, before Outer Worlds 2 comes out, probably this fall, we did an Outer Worlds roundtable over the next few months? Make Andrew play it. Ray and I can play it again. It's been a few years, and I didn't quite finish the first time. Then we're ready for Outer Worlds 2, and we can start the New Vegas roundtable next, right around the beginning of the show.
Is it that style of game where you build a character based on role-playing stats and blah, blah, blah?
It has stats and variants. Maybe not as much. What do you think, Ray? I think it does.
It's not open world, right? It's not sandbox game. It's on rails.
Open-ish.
Open-ish.
Oh, open-ish. Okay.
Yeah, it's open world, but the worlds are just very small, and you have to fly in your spaceship from one space to the next.
Yep.
So that sounds exactly like Starfield, though, right?
But they're smaller zones than Starfield.
It's exactly like Starfield.
Okay. You're being facetious. I can tell.
He's joking.
If with Starfield you could only land in one spot on every planet.
Oh, I see. And it's a
like
very limited exploration zone. Okay.
Yeah. It's like a cross between Mass Effect and Fallout, but in an Obsidian gameplay format. It was really enjoyable. Has some great characters. And I have a feeling that when we see this cool-ass space game for Outer Worlds 2 on Sunday, we're going to get pretty excited about it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I have a feeling I'm going to be like, yes, that looks great. Got to go back and play Outer Worlds 2. And I thought maybe it'd be a fun thing to make a roundtable of, because I don't know what else we're going to do between now and New Vegas.
I don't think Randy was joking about that Oblivion roundtable. I think he's going to start stabbing people if we don't put that together soon.
We got other people in chat managed to get too. I don't feel like we should do an Oblivion roundtable on the Fallout feed.
Not on the Fallout feed.
That's what Skyrim is for. And we've talked a lot of Oblivion, and we probably will continue to for a bit. So, enough's enough. And Outer Worlds is much closer to Fallout and our Fallout Starfield continuum that we live on.
Yeah.
Anyway, just a thought. Switch 2.
So definitely not an Oblivion roundtable, but we'll do this Outer Worlds roundtable. That's fine.
It's closer. I'm just saying it's closer to the Fallout Starfield continuum we live on. And Michael and the Starfield Addict crew need their Elder Scrolls roundtable.
I'm thinking we need
the Starfield Addict.
We need to play.
Did I just say that? Oh my god, it's in my brain.
Addict. Yes. I didn't even notice. I think we need to do a original Wasteland roundtable too.
Yeah, I would absolutely do a Wasteland roundtable. Maybe Wasteland 2 or 3 though, as opposed to original.
I don't know.
Unless you really want one.
Pretty fun. I just really like those really clunky old hard games right now. I don't know why.
Yeah. There is a
suggestion. We never did follow up with Fallout 2.
We never did. So
True.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
We got Fallout 2. We got some permutation of Fallout 4. We got Outer Worlds because I'm being weird. And we've got Wasteland.
Well,
yeah. I don't have the ability to play Fallout 4 right now.
Oh no.
Fair. And we don't want to until we'll see if things are fixed and tweaked, or maybe Fallout 4 Extra Fancy Definitive Anniversary Edition is going to be announced. Because
on the Switch too. There you go.
This November is the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah. Or the big update for Fallout London.
That's coming. The final thing is Switch 2. Did you add that to the bits, I think? Did
Yeah, it came out
you
this
put in an order
week.
for one?
No, I wanted to. Someone at work said, "Oh yeah, I just went to GameStop. They had a bunch." So I was just like, maybe I'll just go out this weekend and see if I can get my hands on one. I know you guys aren't Switch players, but I just thought it was funny that there was all this hubbub. You can't get pre-orders anywhere, but then like multiple people I know are just like, yeah, I went to Target and
A lot of Best
picked
Buys
one
or
up.
Targets.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, people were standing in midnight release lines to get them. Some places sold out, but other places still have them. It's been a good launch. Nintendo actually had enough for once. I mean, not enough to fulfill all pre-orders online,
No,
but
they usually
with physical store stuff.
and
more.
that shit where they like, like no, we're all out. You know that they had $1 billion in a warehouse. They're just waiting for another few months before they release another batch so that they could do the artificially limited,
Sometimes
create
it's
the craze.
stock manipulation.
It always
Yeah.
is. Come on.
But it's also when they start how many they can manufacture. This time, just they were saying that they've been stockpiling ahead quite a bit. That's one of the reasons why advanced copies didn't go out, because they weren't even active. They weren't able to be activated until day one, because they'd had some, the firmware needed updated that had been sitting in warehouses for, since last fall.
Yeah.
But I think they said they stockpiled 4 or 5 million to start.
So-
Like there is a large amount, whatever it is.
Does that mean collectors, like people who know their shit, are like, oh, you got the ultra rare Wave 3 Generation 2 Nintendo that has the -02 in their serial number? Is there like that sort of thing? Like are certain waves of a console like, I mean, I know they're supposed to be exactly the same, but like has there ever an instance where there's been like, oh yeah, you got that one.
They usually figure that stuff out after the fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that does happen. People be like, oh, you have, like, for instance, PlayStation 4. There were a gen or two models that were actually back compatible, and then the following ones weren't after a bit.
That is bullshit.
Yeah, like
I'd be
there were
so
a couple.
mad.
There were a couple things like that where there were some real differences. There were others where like one aspect of like the CMOS or like the graphics card had like a clock of like 5% more or whatever. Like it's nothing big, but people would actually keep track of that. Be like, oh, you want to get this model, not this model.
That is awesome. That's the next level.
PlayStation 3. I'm being corrected. It was PlayStation 3. I thought that was.
Oh, some
one of
nerd in the peanut gallery corrected you.
They do that. When I said it, I was unsure of myself too. I'm like, maybe it
How
wasn't for me. It was
dare
3.
you misspeak in a public forum?
No, PS4 was not back compatible in some ways right from the start. Yeah, it's because of the whole cell architecture thing with the 3. That makes the most sense. They had to do special stuff to make it back compat.
Yeah, that's the last PS thing I had was the 3. No, I had a Vita. I had a Vita. No, I didn't. PSP.
No, you didn't.
PSP is what I meant. Haha.
PSP was cool. I don't know which was
It was
cooler.
fun.
I think PSP was
It
cooler.
was fun.
I want an Xbox handheld.
It's your phone, dude. It's your Xbox is everything. Remember their new
Yeah, everything's an
brainwashing? I mean,
Xbox,
marketing ploy.
I have, there's a limit to how small of a screen I want. And then also you got to like mount a controller to it and handlebars and training wheels. I don't know.
So,
I don't.
do you want the screen in between the two things, like the Switch and the stream? What is the stream? The whatever
Steam
that was,
Deck?
the Steam Deck. Is that the style you like when you have a handheld device, Jess? What
Yes.
design do you like? That
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like that.
the screen in between the two.
Screen between the two. But of course with Xbox controller handles. Like I want real handles on it, not like
Crappy
whatever
Switch handles.
that's on the Switch, like the little cheap plastic doohickeys.
Yeah. I know the innovation was that they're supposed to be like, oh, one controller can become two, but like, unless you have the world's smallest hands, that was never more than just a gimmick to me. But the new
Yeah.
ones are evidently magnetic, and you don't have to slide them to get them connected and stuff like that. So that's a major improvement, because so many stupid kids try to like force those things off, and it cracks and makes them wobble inside of their setting. So at least they've done that. I've always wondered why all appliances don't have that magnetic, trip over the cable, magnetic thing pulls out. Rehook it with
So
the
I
magnets.
just dropped art of like what I'm looking for.
That's
in-
what you want?
in chat. I mean, I want that, but I want with little palm nubbins. I want like an Xbox controller. I need the little handles coming down a little bit. I've seen versions like that too. But that right there, that's the one that's probably coming out this summer. It's the ROG Ally X, but like it'll be an Xbox version of it, most likely. Hopefully it gets revealed tomorrow. We'll see.
What does
Or-
ROG stand for?
It's an Asus brand. It stands for Republic of Gamers. Yeah.
Republic of Gamers. Wow.
Yeah. Upscale computer stuff. I don't know if Ray has any or not.
Yeah, I've got some ROG stuff. And for me, my handheld's got to have a 32-inch 4K screen.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's see. How do we make that happen? You would have to have. Do you get like seasick and stuff? Can you do VR headsets? Because that's the only way you could do that, probably. Some sort of glasses. Do they have gamer glasses yet, where you can just play games as you're?
Yeah, like we were
walking
talking
around?
about, like they're getting there, with the
Yeah.
medicine. There's actually, it's funny. There is a version of gamer glasses that people are talking about. It's just prototype right now. I don't know. When we actually get the whole VR headset thing, the point where it can be in glasses, that's when it'll be a bit more doable.
Yeah, Randa said that's lap held. Yeah, how big is that damn thing? Is that going to be 15 pounds? That ROG, it looks huge.
Oh no, that's not that bad. That's
Okay.
perfectly reasonable. Same size as the Steam Deck, maybe a little bit
Yeah.
bigger. But
I
he's
think
talking
he was-
about the
he was
32
talking
inch.
my 32-inch.
Oh, your 32-inch model. Yeah, that's totally. Yeah, that's a TV mounted on the wall size.
Like 3 iPads glued together.
You know that cart they had at AV Club in high school? That's what you have to mount your screen on. That's how it's portable. That's your handheld device. Is you have to push a cart around with you now, Ray. Congrats.
Yeah.
It's portable.
Well, and since my controller would have to be a keyboard and mouse, it would be definitely a lap full.
I don't know if it's around yet. My buddy, who's real super into computers, like forever ago, told me that we're going to have laser projected keyboards where you break the light, and that's how you tell the keystroke, where it's just like you could just plug it into a little USB dongle into anything, and it projected a keyboard, and you could just type on your table. And
No.
That's the future.
Where you broke
That's
the...
crazy.
Is that not happening yet?
I need a tactile keyboard.
Yeah, me too.
You can't laser beam it. I
It's
hate
not the same.
I hate the virtual controller on the sides of your phone when you're playing a game like, this is your stick down in the corner. And my son is great at that. He can use an iPad game like nothing. But you know what I mean? Like when they have...
It's 'cause he's got little tiny kid fingers.
Yeah, kid fingers. And, quick reflexes and stuff. And, I don't know. The ability to learn new muscle memory. My shit is set in stone.
Okay, Ray, I'm going to one-up you. I want one of those phones the size of a small black bear, like they have at Dave & Buster's, like human size, like a phone, but you can like do gesture on it. Have you ever done that? Played like
A phone?
Fruit Ninja at Dave & Buster's? Have you seen that?
Fruit
It's like
Ninja.
a big old touch screen, as big as a person.
That's
or, well,
crazy. No,
small
I haven't
bear.
seen that.
Yeah, it's probably been 15 years since I've been in a Dave & Buster's.
It's probably been
We-
5 years since I've been to one.
We used to have our Christmas party there at work because it was right across the parking lot.
No, that's one of the reasons why I don't want a game on my phone is because it is just small screen. And that's why I didn't love the Switch. I didn't like the feel of it. I didn't like the screen. I didn't like the controller. And Steam Deck has a slightly better screen, but I want it bigger. Like, I may not have Ray's requirements, but I want it bigger. Give me at least a 10-inch screen, 11-inch. Something decent would be awesome.
I don't mind. I have one controller that I toss in my backpack that's always in there, and I just take it out and charge it every once in a while, and one or a couple that live at my Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
So I just really don't mind, having my portable device and my controller. I know,
It's
like
not
it's
that
having
bad.
having it in one unit is convenient.
If I had
I
more
don't mind
controllers,
my-
if I had a dedicated controller for just the phone, it wouldn't be as bad. Maybe with one of those cool little
Yeah,
clips.
that's what I did that right because I was tired of trying to do the connectivity thing, figuring
Yeah.
out, why isn't my
Yeah.
controller? Oh crap! Yeah. So
But if you get
I
it
had a
dedicated,
one.
probably better.
Yeah, I got color-coded stickers. Got a smiley face on one and an apple on the other one, I think.
Lee shared a very cool laser keyboard.
Yeah, I
In the
didn't
chat.
know it was real.
Oh no, it is real. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why Ray was saying he would want one. But yeah, they are a real thing.
I want to play around with it. That looks fun. All right. Well, in that case, I will let you guys know that you can find Jess and all of her many projects over at Sleep is for Tea. Jess, thanks so much for hopping on tonight.
Thanks, and happy Summer Game Fest, everybody.
Ooh, have a good one. Ray can be found at RayLB, and also if you'd like to check out his No Man's Sky show, that is at BBCISSS for the Butcher, Baker, Candlemaker in Space. Ray, thank you so much for hopping on.
Good times.
Jess and Ray both like to hang out in our Discord if you'd like to join up in there. I hang out over on our Facebook group, and the show can be found at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
Welcome, sir or madam. Let's go to my baby. As you upgrade your rod,
I found some pre-war lingerie at the market today.
really hot and heavy, you don't actually need to ever equip a pole. You have your pole. Upgrade that rod.